Okay. So what is the
So what you can check so I said, what do you want to do there?
right? You said it over that day. So
I said, so what do you want to do? You better me do the big job.
did you see?
Yes, microphone check. Whoop whoop. Yo, Wagwan.
Boss, you answer me in Wagwan. Boy, tonight they're making cooler.
Can I make him call?
I'm feeling cool, boy. You have all your insulation, way. Watch out. Put my phone to charge for me now, please. You have all your insulation in. You see the insulation. You may be feeling hot too. You cannot take off that jacket there. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Bro, start it off, man. Just run it like a boss.
Okay,
Start it off. We'll get
okay, good.
press trigger in a press people button. Like when you're 22, we now miss something. 10 off of you, so we forget the next dozen. Fool!
Good night. Good night. Welcome to Moun Séwyè live on a Monday. Yeah, skills, man. You're trying to
How you mean? Don't say it, yo.
So like a dog man.
Original bounty killer style.
Poor people fed up.
For people governor.
So I see that technology.
Well, for what I can say, well, let me just open it with my little psalm now, brothers.
True, yes,
Yeah.
guys. For real.
Okay. Make a joyful noise unto the Lord, all the lands. Save the Lord with gladness. Come before his presence with singing. Know that the Lord is God. It is he that has made us and not we of ourselves. We are his people and the sheep of his pastures. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving and into his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name, because the Lord God Almighty is good. His mercy is everlasting, and his truth endureth to all generations. Yes, brothers, yes, my people, another night again, Moun Séwyè. Yeah, we bring to you again words of encouragement to uplift the people, give the people courage to stand against evil and corrupt regime in Dominica, my people. Well, I don't think we have no specific topic tonight, I can guess, but once you hear Moun Séwyè is in the house, you know the mission is to mobilize the people to come together as one to stand against corruption. We have to stand, and together is the only way we can do it, my people. We have to create some kind of a civil unrest, start to block streets, block over all the country, all over. We have to create something to invite the international press so we can get to where we want, my people. That is the only way forward. I will leave with one of my brothers, either Buju or Pyro. As we go on further, I'll come back with you, my brothers and sisters.
Yes, on the weekend we went to Séwyè. It was a pleasant experience again in Séwyè. Once again, the people in the communities are receptive of the message despite their colors or their affiliation politically. Everybody feeling the pressure, yet the victimization out there and the fear out there to speak, especially when you're not on the government gravy train. This fear to speak is very high. You hear the people in the background always agreeing with the things that we are saying, but they cannot speak it aloud themselves, which is a problem. And if the people agree, they should be able to speak freely their conscience as to how they see their country going without fear of retribution from the leadership that they voted. Especially when you have leadership that will say, when we make mistakes, it's you the people to correct us. But for the past 15 years, we the people cannot correct the government that we have. We cannot make any suggestions, we cannot do anything, we cannot say anything, our hands are tied. The official opposition getting run over in the parliament, so therefore the people itself getting run over in the streets by the government. And that is something that we endeavor to put a stop to, the fear of the government. We're not a colony, and we shouldn't fear our own people. You know, the British are not coming down hard on us, it's our own people that are coming down hard on us. And they have brought a climate of fear into the country for that victimization process. And Moun Séwyè, we have to stop that whole vibes, man, that victimization that people experiencing. And what people have to do is speak up without fear, one by one, and as loud as they can. And when one man shout loud, the other man will shout loud. And when the next woman shout loud, the next woman will shout loud, and so on and so forth. We have to give each other strength. You check, Pyro?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I mean, good evening to everybody and welcome to the show. Definitely, I mean, fear, there's how you can feel the fear in the atmosphere, and for me, I'm embracing the fear. I like the fear. I like to know fear, because fear shows that something is definitely wrong, and that is why people have fear. It's because something is wrong. So the fear is basically a catapult, because it prepares you to act, to react to whatever is causing that fear. So the fear is the start of the adrenaline process, you know, and to me, the fear is defining that something is definitely wrong, and we have to act. I mean, we have to act on our fears. We have to find a way to solve our issues, and there are many issues that needs addressing in Dominica. Many, so many. Yeah, and we as a nation, we have to keep striving for betterment, you know, and just keep the energy going, you know. So we're on the crusade every Saturday, different communities. And it's just like what Bojo been saying, the people in the communities, they are very receptive to us. I mean, right now we go to communities and it's almost like people expecting us, you know. It's like, yeah, when you see we pull up in the place and check it, like, what? Yeah, man. They like the vibes, they like the talk, they like the energy. So I think it's good that people can actually identify that yes, there are issues. People know that there are issues. It's just a matter of reaching the pinnacle for you to actually react from the fear that you feel, because the victimization is real, and even in the communities we go, the people, they say it, you know, it's like they know that people are being victimized. We know that people are being victimized. We know that the government has, we know that the government has weaponized the resources of the state against the people and use it as a tool to bully the people into submission. So that is a thing that has created a lot of fear, and because nobody really know what to expect for tomorrow. Nobody knows where they stand. Nobody knows what really can going to come out of all what is happening. I mean, you sit here, you wait 10 years expecting a house or an apartment from a government, but in those 10 years there you could be gainfully employed, and in 10 years you could build yourself your own house, instead of you sit there waiting. You don't know what to expect, when to expect, what to expect, and it's just sad, and sorry, right?
Waiting kind of a life.
Yeah, that is a way, they suppress the people and victimize the people and bully the people, So we want the people to know that we need, or we should, rebel against such a system, because this is just modern day slavery, and we should not accept slavery. I mean, the way Dominica is presently, we cannot even say we're living in a democracy, because we have a government that is not accountable to the people. There's nothing transparent about what they do, and the activities, we just keep seeing things and hearing of things, and it's just about time that we really come together, and we have to stamp out the nonsense. We really need to take this seriously, take in the message, look at what is happening, look at things critically, participate in what is our country, and because we have not been participating in the country that these people were able to accomplish these levels of corruption and this level of thievery and so on, stealing from the state, defrauding the state. And if we as citizens participate in our nation, then these things will not happen. We have to be moral, rightfully moral in our actions, and look to have a proper country, a good society, and it's just fundamental. Yeah, so to me it's something that been looking at for a long time. I mean, it's a long time we're on the outside watching what is happening and just observing and just seeing the nonsense and not saying nothing, but over the past year or so, it's like things we couldn't take it again, man. It's about time. And I know there are many people out there with the same sentiment. And yes, let us come together. Those of us that share the sentiment, even there are those that know it have a problem. Some of them might not be willing to act to solve the problem, but I think there is more than enough of us that want to fix these problems, and we should really look to communicate with one another and see how we can move forward, because I mean, this should not be accepted. The way our country is being run, it just should not be accepted.
No, I don't believe that should be accepted, Navarro. And the people out there shouldn't accept how the country is being run. Even if you vote for the government, how the country is being run is, how should I say it now? How the country is being run is that directly affects you and every single person that you know living in the country. And we cannot play this game of having willful ignorance to the burning issues that are affecting our daily bread, pretending that we do not know what is happening, or making excuses that going to prolong our suffering rather than getting us out of the problems that we have at the present moment. It's not to suffer in silence, but it's to speak up right about now. And that is what we have to do as a people, is speak up and speak up get there. And one thing in Séwyè, when we engage that gentleman Tony, so we asked Tony certain questions, and Tony's response to us, it was none of our business, or basically it wasn't his business to know that information. Yet he was defending the party at all out. But none of the burning issues he could give a credible answer to.
To me, when I see people like these guys, like, it just brings back the whole vibes of slavery. There were slaves that were comfortable with slavery, you know, and there were those that was just not accepting. And I just look at this man as someone who is accepting to slavery, you know, like, yes, master. And
no, Pyro, what it is there, you know, yes, he is a yes master, no master kind of a vibe, you know, but the reality is, because he on the gravy train, he can make excuses and come up with each and every possible excuse that there is to keep what is not working for 99% of us not working. So 1% of the people trying to convince the 99% other that things good. No, we cannot allow a minority of that minority to somehow convince us that what we're seeing is not what is happening in the country. So when we speak about no jobs for the Dominican people, it's only the people on the gravy train that can tell you that that is not a problem, or Dominicans doesn't finish the project on time, so you have to go and get foreigners to finish the project, and petty excuses like that. It's only the people like that that will tell you the government doing good. But when you break it down and you ask them, or ask the average man, what is it the good that the government is doing for the people of Dominica? And if you have to specify, what good has the government done for the people of Dominica, to grow the people of Dominica since Hurricane Maria? We're not even going back as 10, 15, 20 years, you know, Pyro. We had a big reset in Hurricane Maria. Everything get destroyed. And since then, what has the government done to bring about this to elevate the standard of living of Dominicans? Absolutely nothing.
in fact, some of the actions has brought it down.
You're right, because their actions directly lead into the poverty of Dominica, and what I would say the fleecing of our money.
Yeah, the defrauding of the state. Look at what they call this, Dominica Strong.
That's the example that comes straight into my mind.
So many trucks and excavators parked down at Check Hall there on the side of the Massa.
Dominica Strong, to me, to my mind, to me, if you're a thinking person, Dominica Strong represents one of the greatest robberies in Dominica. It sits there at Check Hall as a monument to government robbery. Here it is, a company comes into Dominica to do the specialized work of dredging rivers. The specialized work.
But they have no specialized equipment.
No, but Pyro, that is what these people are telling you. That dredging a river is such a specialized work. We have to get a special company to come into Dominica to dredge the rivers. However, that company hired only Dominican people who work in the backhoes, work in the trucks. So
they had a few drivers.
No,
they had a lot of.
They had a lot of local drivers.
Yeah, but they brought in a lot of. The man had a lot of drivers. They brought in their own people.
They had a few people, but the majority of
drivers. Had a lot of drivers.
The management, the top management was foreigners.
Also drivers. They had a lot of drivers. That man used to be up by our uncle up there.
Yes.
Sometime by the garden.
Quite a few guys. Quite a few guys that was working.
Couple of man used to stop and talk to man there.
And if Dominica Strong was a legit company, Dominica Strong would have, like NH, or Renault or many of the companies are doing big projects around here, they will have got another contract to do something else.
But not just getting another contract. I mean, here it is, you have so much equipment, right? And it's just sitting there doing nothing.
That is
so
exactly my point, Pyro. You would be getting some other type of work to do because it's a legitimate construction company.
Or take your equipment back to where it came from or something.
But because Dominica Strong is not was never a legitimate operation, it sits over there as a monument of robbery. Because that same money.
God capital, let's say about the money.
That same money could have been invested in public works. So those 25 trucks could still be in use to the Dominican people with public works. Those 10 backhoes could still be in use for the Dominican people with public works. Maybe they have more.
Well, not backhoes, excavators.
You call them? Yeah. Well, they have more than 10 excavators just sitting there.
So maybe they have more than 10 excavators.
Well, they have more, even worse. Even worse. So we have a man like Fred Capito, a Labour Party personnel, who said that the government got $600 million during
after Maria.
After Maria, 600 million. And Dominica Strong, a singular company, went home with over 120 million. Now let's face it, people. If Golden Boy is such an economic genius, which he brings billions of dollars to the economy, as they say, why is he not able to circulate the $1 billion in Dominica, rather than putting Dominicans in a situation where we pay the bills and the foreigners circulate the money? So, for example, the health centers, the $100 million World Bank loan, in China that's circulating, that money not circulating locally. So what benefit is there to the Dominican people when we take a $100 million loan and the money is circulating in China? So someone in Beijing spending the $100 million, but Dominican people paying for it. And then the man has the audacity to come out and say, Dominica, the economy is small, the money not circulating. You understand? But you keep putting the country in a situation economically where every major project, every major capital project is done by a foreign entity. Because I'm not a history buff, but I know a few things about history. For example, like when America was in the Great Depression, it was capital projects that brought them out of the Great Depression. If America took all that load, that debt, and hired foreign workers, then they would have failed. But they kept the work internally and they spun the money into the economy. We are not doing that. And we have how many economic advisors, how many economic institutions, how many NGOs that will not speak to the fact that we have a failing economy. And one institution that comes to mind is Social Security. Social Security keeps putting the numbers up, the percentages you pay to Social Security keeps going up, and they keep stretching when you can handle your money from retirement. And that goes directly to show that the economy is failing when Social Security over the last 5-10 years been incrementally just putting up on the percentages, putting up on the percentage of Social Security. But yet you never hear the Social Security boss come and talk about employment as a problem for the investment scheme of Social Security. Because if you do not have local employment, the Social Security is going to have a problem in the future.
Yep.
And these people have to talk about employment for the Dominican people. And talking about employment from Social Security standpoint, the business of Social Security is not political. It is just strictly business for these people to talk about that we need increased employment to the local people. That cannot be political.
Like how the Americans talk about their own.
Exactly. So why is talking about job creation and job employment something political? And why we are non-governmental organization? I don't know where the youth council for me.
Even St. Lucia.
Because The youth council in Dominica, I don't know who they're representing. If they're representing the youth, if they're just children of Labour Party, one of the career stepping stones. I don't know exactly what the youth council supposed to be about. They will explain their mandate and tell you about the youth. But when has the youth council put out a statement in regards to youth employment, the state of youth unemployment in Dominica? Or the state of sporting opportunities for young people and investment in sports and education? I'm not hearing anything about the youth council speaking to things like that. And when you had somebody like Josiah Bilwa, head of the youth council, Labour Party operative, what gainful criticism could this guy offer? What gainful criticism can is the board, the new youth council offer the Dominican youth going forward? Because there are too much organization in Dominica that want to pretend that if they speak about what is right, it's being political. The only bad thing about politics is if it's a partisan hack, that you cannot say the sky is blue, the sky has to be red. That is the only bad thing about politics. But we must discuss the things that happen in our country in a balanced and positive way. Not just say we're not involved in politics. Talking about employment cannot be about politics. Talking about the breakdown of law and order cannot be about politics. It's about fairness. And we Dominican people have to be fair to each other.
Well, for what I can say to this, yeah, basically, I don't know, but to me, we know the society has been deteriorated. Right now, we have to look to just hitting forward and yeah, forward we go, we cannot keep the cycle of nothingness. We're in a cycle of poverty. Basically, that is what I call it, a cycle of poverty, because just like Agbojo saying, we're in an economy which is not being built for Dominicans. Everything about our economy is exterior. The whole setup of the economy is to facilitate foreigners, is to facilitate what's happening on the exterior of Dominica. For we that live in Dominica, there's no real push towards building our capacity or towards empowering we as Dominicans. Right now, it's up to us as a society, as a people, to take it upon ourselves and to ensure that our society move forward in a rightful manner, so we understand and we know what it has been. We see it every day, we live in it every day. You know what I mean? When you look at Dominica, the average salary in Dominica is $1,000 EC dollars. And you really have to wonder sometimes how somebody making it a month, how households are doing it on a monthly basis with $1,000 EC dollars. Excuse me. And I mean, I don't think I should have to explain to a person that getting $1,000 EC dollars a month why they're going for the plights they're going through. Just this sort of oppression, $1,000 EC dollars a month, supposed to allow you to see that something has to be done. And this is why I say I know people live in fear. Plus, we still have more than half of our youth are unemployed, and more than 50% of the youth we are unemployed. And it's not like to say it's something that is being addressed or it's something that is being looked at in any form. You just go on with the business as usual, and there's no discussion around it, there's no approach towards it. The only approach is for one to migrate, leave the country, and this is why we see generation after generation of brain drain and high migration, because I mean the youth is not being addressed, and if we're not addressing our future, because the youth is our tomorrow, we are the tomorrow, and it makes no sense of a society. We are not developing a society, so we definitely have to do something about it. We cannot just sit by and accept this as a solution, that migration. Yeah. We can stay in Dominica and live. We should be able to stay right here in Dominica and have a fruitful life. You know, be able to build our capacity. It's just like today I've been listening to the radio, and I'm hearing figures of universities that have been paid off, and the total, according to the Prime Minister, came to like what, over 10 million. And I'm saying, like, if it is not possible that these monies build a university right here in Dominica, you know, and
what we have efficient. So before you,
yeah, because checking, if we pay enough 10 million US to universities in America and around the world, this is, to me, 10 million US should be able to run a university in Dominica, you know, and provide opportunities for people to be able to stay right here and expand themselves, expand their capacity, you know, and this would even have a greater impact on our society in terms of the educational level, where you do not have to migrate for you to be able to get a tertiary educational level in terms of university, and so we could have our own local professionals, and it would be a good thing because we would be able to cater systems or curriculums geared towards addressing social issues, societal issues. But for that to be able to even work, we have to get rid of that administration that we have, because these people are not interested in addressing our issues as a society, and it's clear to see, you know, it's just clear to see. So I mean, we have to be critical and think about these things. So how we just milking, bleeding out. Anytime you pay 10 million US, a country that's what, before Maria we had about 70,000 people. After Maria our population went down to, I would just estimate about 60,000. So maybe now we maybe have 60,000 or less people in Dominica presently. Let us say maybe even a 65,000.
so how is it that I expect university of students in foreign countries to be expensive and the bills to be high. So we invest in 10 million. We invest in 10 million but in a year or in the past years for students' tuition and education. However, the government isn't doing anything to create any employment for these students. So instead of a student coming back to Dominica to be gainfully employed or to create some opportunity through entrepreneurship, that person stays overseas and sends pennies on the dollars back home and starts out. And some of that is supposed to grow our economy. And people that know that cannot work. That cannot work. Our children cannot be overseas sending back pennies on the dollars, and somehow we think that's going to grow our economy. That can only help so much people. But when you talk about a government that since Maria Pyro has come into control of billions of EC dollars, and we're talking about education here. So
One
here
of
it
the
is.
main arms out of poverty.
And so here it is. We are unfinished. The Grand Bay Primary School is still uncovered. So you have to ask yourself, what really is the priority in education in Dominica? What really is it? We have no vocational training whatsoever. You have to go to college, I believe, for you to learn electronics. So in the modern world of today, it takes you have to leave high school to start learning electronics. So where it is that some children fixing computers at 12, 13 years, it only officially being taught electronics after high school. So how are we preparing students for practical life if they're not academic? And people have to take these things seriously, that our education system has been destroyed by this government. We had a high standard British education system. We switched over to what everybody knows is the American system, which is, when you look on a global level, yes, America leads on certain fields, but American education system is not top-notch relative to the rest of the industrial world, especially compared to England, which we were a part of. So we went.
I mean, it's a known fact that the British educational system is better than the American system. It's not even a question.
So it's a fact. So just by that, in education, we have regressed. And we see the evidence of regression in our education system, lack of investment. Does the state college have a state-of-the-art lab? I don't know.
State college doesn't have the state-of-the-art nothing.
Good, but we're spending 10 million.
And that is the thing too. It's like the government would come and they would say, everything is state-of-the-art this, but if you really look at these things, state-of-the-art, my food.
You see, when you never had nothing, Byro, you don't have nothing. Or let's just say, as you say, when you're making 1,000 ECA a month, $12,000 a year, and the government, and it's a thing I just take note of, why exactly everything is always a dollar value first when they're speaking about it? So they go in and build whatever. The first thing they would say, but we spend 500,000 in the neighborhood, blah, 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 blah. Most people cannot comprehend that kind of money, and they seem like that money seems like the will to a lot of people in terms of achieving it. And the government and the people always come with a dollar value to things, knowing that what would I say, that will impress the people. The dollar value will impress the people rather than the actual work being done. So instead of looking at the value of the work, people hear the dollar value and they feel, well, dollar value is the quality of the work. No?
The thing about it, one thing about with Dominica, there's no capacity building. When it comes to when you look at our government, we have no capacity building. So they must come and try and bamble you and tell you, well, yeah, we spend X amount of money, so that will make you feel like as if something was done or there is something. Like right now, yeah, we have to look forward, man. We have to look forward. We know what it is. We've seen the nonsense. We've seen the nonsense. And we know we can do better. We as a people, we can definitely do much better than what is happening presently. And it's on us. It is on us for us to ensure that we get better. We have a civic responsibility, and these are the type of things that the government will not tell you or not educate you about, that you have a civic responsibility to ensure that the government stays to its mandate, that the government looks out for its people, the better interests of its people. Who are we? We are the society, we are the people, we are the country. So if we have administrators administrating us and they are not doing a good job at it, then it's on us, the people, to come out and make these people know that we are not going to accept what is being dished at us. You know, I mean, we know victimization exists. You know, we know all these things. We know that the government is not building the capacity of the locals. And we can see it, we can clearly identify it. And it's a thing I just always say, show me any construction company in Dominica that can match Reno. I asked that to Fidel Grant the first time we went to Wesley, and he was stumped. I had to ask him it about 10 times before he could say there is none. You know, and how can we not see an issue in that as a society, that we do not have a local company to match these foreign companies that come and compete? You know, we are a small society and we are undeveloped country, right? And in the process of development, we're supposed to be given some level of priority. You know, these countries are countries that are already developed. It's just like we have an agreement with the with the European Union, where we have the EPA, right? That was signed by our same government in 2008, I think it was. You know, the EPA is also part of the Cotonou Agreement. You know, we should look up these things, read them, what they entail. We check. We're supposed to have access to European markets at zero taxation for our goods, our finished products. You know, and you don't hear these discussions in our society. We don't hear our government come in and educate us on them things. You check. So these are things that can empower us as a people, because we have access to markets. You know, I mean, the European Union is one of the largest blocks of people in the world. It's one of the largest markets in the world, because in this consumerism society, I mean, the European Union forms over, I think, I can't remember the population, but it's over 100 million for sure. And these are markets that we have access to at zero taxation. And if they import into our countries, they have to pay tax, because they're already developed and they're looking to help us reach a certain level. You know, so we have a period, I think it's 20 or 30 years, I cannot remember exactly, where we are allowed to import, we are allowed this zero taxation favoritism kind of a deal. And we never hear our government say nothing about it, or put any program in place to facilitate the access to those markets and so on. And that's what I'm saying. We can do better. We have the opportunity to do better, you know, but we have a problem. Our administrators are our problem. Our government is our problem, you know, and they're not facilitating the people. They're not building our capacity. They're encouraging us to leave our country. They're encouraging the brain drain, you know. And yes, we can boast that Dominica has a lot of scholars throughout the world. Most countries you go to, you can find some Dominican there that is of, so yes, exceptional scholarly achievements and even, yes, you know, and even working in other countries and doing exceptionally well professionally. You know, and I mean, we have to wonder about what we see in our country when we think of these people, you know, and why can't we achieve or have people like of this caliber, because they are from this land. Why are they not coming back? What is it that keeping them from contributing towards the whole development of our nation. You know, so these are things that we have to really question, and to me, these are things that should propel us to want better for ourselves, for our people, for our society, for our communities, you know, and we have to build up our strength, we have to build up our force, and we have to challenge this government. We definitely cannot continue accepting what is happening in Dominica. Wanted to say something nice, right?
Yeah, what I like to say, Pai, poverty is a crime.
Definitely.
And we have to get rid of that, because when I do, first I can give a blatant example. The problem with us here in this, but that bring us right there is when we elect a government, we doesn't question these people.
Exactly.
You understand? Because I can give you a simple example, like the NAP workers, most of these people are the people that vote for these people, right? These are the people that was telling them, oh, we have the money, and they that will take care of them in the country and all kind of things. Yes, but look how they give them a little work, I have a problem. But what is scenario, they give them at least 3 days out of 5 working days, $50 per day. You multiply that, that's $150. You understand?
Yeah, 150 a
A
week.
fortnight, that's $300. A month, that's $600. Your rent is $650. You understand me?
But you see, I have to take out social security.
We have all the money put first. You understand? So when you watch them things, it's like the people themselves, they have to wake up. Because you can't just accept everything that somebody give you. These are the people that leading into poverty, and they have to open their eyes to see them things.
True.
You check. So that's why us on our mission, we will never stop. We'll always bring the awareness to the people. Because when you watch that, my boy, that is their road to poverty, my boy.
Yeah, man.
Even, okay, look, I might take on my time and I can give you 5 days at $50. 5, that's 25, that's $250. You multiply that by 4, you can get $1,000. What in that system, all of us know what Dominica is today. $1,000 just cannot make it. That is poverty, my boy. You understand? And when you have to watch me and tell me today, you love your PM, but you don't love yourself. You have to question, you have to keep questioning
Exactly.
these people. That is where you can get to know where you stand. You have
True.
to question these people.
Yes, definitely,
But
alright.
accepting everything. Oh, I vote because they vote for them. No.
True.
That is not all. That's how you're going to get your country developing. You have to question the people that you put in office.
And the thing is just like what we are saying, they do not educate people about these things. Where would you go to learn about democracy, right? To learn about what is your civic duties,
You understand?
you know, and to keep your government in check is part of your civic duty, you know. As a citizen, you have to be able to keep your government in check. You have to be able to you have to be responsible enough for you to be able to recognize when the government has gone astray, you know, and that is one of the major issues, you know, people not being able to recognize when the government is going astray or has gone astray. And we can see that our government has definitely gone astray.
What you said there is true, Byron, because when we went to I remember asking you specifically, can you understand when your prime minister doing wrong? With her response, she doesn't see him doing wrong. Because other people cannot understand what it is that they're doing wrong, so therefore they will not see what they're doing wrong. Now they touch on 2 things, one on Byron, one on your eyes. But Byron, when you were in Wesley, and you spoke to Fidel Grant about the construction, I remember following him up with a quest, with an angle that the investment in the local construction companies. So he was saying that the local companies, a lot of them couldn't meet the deposit on the project. I think something so the deposit on the project. So they couldn't compete because they couldn't make the deposit. So I asked him this specific question. I was like, yo, why can't the government front a 0% interest loan for the construction companies, the local companies, to compete on those projects and build their capacity. Man, look at my demand field was blanker than yesterday, Pyro. Blanker than yesterday.
So take a look at what, that is what I'm just saying a while ago, right? The European Union can see it fit to allow us this period in time to build ourselves so we can even be able to compete with the same European Union, you know. And here it is the people that in authority that's supposed to be allowing us to build that capacity. What they're doing, they're turning around and they're giving the resources to foreigners. They're not allowing locals to build the capacity. They're not.
Those man just destroy the game. We have foreigners that fronting money to Dominica, and those guys have a bunch of foreigners that robbing the revenue out of Dominica. So when they say the Prime Minister is a great beggar, a great beggar, yes, he's a great beggar. That's what they say, so I'm repeating it. He goes around, he begs for money from foreigners. And then he takes the money when the foreigners give him the free money and gives it to other foreigners. So who exactly are you begging for? Are you begging for the foreigners or are you begging for the Dominican people? Because, before I continue, I have to touch on Rice's point before I continue. When they tell the people, vote for us, we have the money, Rice. Vote for us, we have the money. And as you're saying it there, I'm thinking about it. We have the money doesn't say we have the jobs, Rice. We have the money doesn't say we have the well-paying jobs, Rice. We have the money never implied that the people was going to get
jobs. And that is true.
They never once said that they have jobs for the people. They did say they have the money. But when your father come around Christmas time and he give you the Christmas money and you burn it, you don't have money for the rest of the year. That you don't have nothing giving you for the rest of the year because it's for Christmas, you're saving the money to put that thing in your basket. And that is the problem, that fooling people. Understanding, they're saying they have the money. It's not saying they have the job creation, because they clearly do not have job creation covered. They have job robbing, they have revenue robbing tactics on us. Because you cannot tell me, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, 1965 was working for $600 EC. For you to tell me in 2021 that a young man, 21, 22, 25 years, even 30, and even people as high as 50, 60 years working NEP for $600. $600. It is very sad in Dominica to see that after 40 years of independence, the government have a majority of have a good bit of people being, and I say it, being grateful for working for $600 a month. Yes, I will say, to be grateful for working for $600 a month, an income that cannot develop yourself or your family, but you should be grateful for it. To the people up there that that voted for the Labour Party under the guise of they have the money. They do not have an economy, so therefore they cannot have the money for us to achieve independently. Second of all, they do not have enough money, or they're too greedy to share the money equally amongst us. So the $1 billion scare rate still, some of us are going to get $20,000, $30,000 to check our vibes. Some of us are going to get 500, some of us are going to get a little bit. The passport program is, I don't want to call it negative, but the wealth creation in Dominica through the passport program is it's not good. When you have one person, right, one person come in the community of Newton, right, and spends $5 million in buying property and development through the passport program. One individual in the passport program comes to Newton, buys $5 million worth of property. A property there, a property across the road, a property across the property from the other property, and he spends that money. And then you look at the community of Newton. How has Newton benefited, the community of Newton benefited from the passport program? We went to Séwyè, and the fisherman's locker was made out of plywood. Went to Scottsdale, the fisherman's locker is made out of plywood. You're talking about a government that said they have generated billions of dollars for the local economy. And in a community like Séwyè, which is Séwyè Scottsdale area, which has been government supported for the last 40 years since independence, in 2021, the fisherman's locker is made out of plywood, recycled construction material. Not even a proper structure, Pyro. Recycled construction material that was made by self-help. But we have a government that has billions of dollars generating. Billions of dollars illegal out of the treasury. Billions of dollars handed over to Anthony Hayden. Billions of dollars being laundered for the construction of apartments. So you have to ask yourself, at every turn of events, all the government wants to do is build apartment buildings. You go to Wesley in the airport project, first thing is apartment buildings by MMC. Not a model village, not a model town, not a modern Wesley, where you can go somewhere and see the new village of Wesley and say, oh boy, Rice boy, look the savannah, look there, they're going to put the savannah in Wesley, look the cemetery with the new cemetery, look at the new church going. You cannot have a plan of a new community for the people of Wesley. What really you're saying to them, or you want to build apartments for them? To me, if the government can show the people of Wesley a new modern village, that airport plan is just a hoax. You have to be able to show a modern village. A man have to go out and be able to point out, look the new playing field, look the new basketball court going there, look the new cemetery, that is where the church going, the new shopping area in Wesley going to be there, a whole new redevelopment. Look at here.
That's what it's supposed to be.
Social Security want to build that thing in Wona. I hear Golden Boy talking about he want to take over, basically he want to take over the project and build a new modern thing on Wona for public servants and blah 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 blah. Again, why is it that this gentleman wants to take our money and simply put it in construction in non-returnable projects? I'm not saying
construction is easy for defrauding the money.
Good, but we spent $1 billion in apartment buildings.
Construction fraud.
It has a zero return on investment. Everybody knows a house does appreciate, but at the same time you have to maintain a house. We have zero returns on our investment after $1 billion. And anybody out there that trying to say we do not have the people of Dominica do not have a legitimate query with their government when the Prime Minister, all his supporters together have spent over $1 billion EC and have brought back zero returns for the economy. So I'm asking again, the people that are supporting the government, can you please tell us when exactly did we touch our $1.2 billion scary say he put on the side of the treasury? When he take the money, he give it to a white man. That white man take the money and give it to other foreigners.
China man.
That other foreigner hire other foreigners along the chain.
Foreigners.
Never once a Dominican in position to handle those projects. So we have never touched $1 billion generated by our own resources. The general man happens to touch any part of that $1 billion. And we have to take that very seriously. We cannot allow the theft of our resources just because we vote for a man. Reality is reality, people. We do accepting cheating from our girlfriend. We do accepting cheating from our boyfriend. We do accepting lying from our children. How you putting a man in office and drinking every lie he said. Head of government, chief liar of the people. That cannot be, my people. We have to come with our foot down, stand strong, come to Roseau, ask the government to resign. Not Roosevelt scary.
We're asking for nothing, I tell you already.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
We demand
Anytime we step on that mission is demand. We don't have ask.
But
Forget about
I
that
accept
part.
that we're demanding, and we're not just demanding Roosevelt's scary resignation, you know. We're demanding his entire 18 member of the government step down. Because you cannot have a situation where you have 17 people condoning the breaking and the stealing of Dominica.
And as you say that,
Cannot. Every single one of them have to resign out
And
of government.
you see, as you say that, I think I always look at when you see talk about the government and cabinet, right? The property for that is being leased for Skerrit at Mount Daniel, right? Remember when that came up in cabinet rejected that offer twice, right? Cabinet initiated to repair the Mount Bruce residence. The man came in and just brushed that aside and say he don't want that. Reject. Nobody in cabinet never stood up against what the
Not to
Prime Minister
interrupt
did.
you, you know.
And it just shows that is one man show.
Are we actually paying this $64,000? Is there evidence that the state is paying $64,000? Because Mr. Skerrit was into the house 3 months and the state hadn't paid a dime as yet. No, I want to know. There are people in the Ministry of Finance who clearly know whether or not this building is being paid for. They need to come forward and speak up. That,
You know something?
Tola, is either you paying for it or you're not paying for it. It's that simple. If the cabinet agreed to pay for it, there's supposed to be a paper with receipt saying that we're paying for it. I would like to know if we officially paying for it. Because if man living in man's house for so long and the state not paying for it, then what is the arrangement for that house? And I believe that need to be checked on by I believe that need to be checked on because as I checked, he was in the house without the government pay.
What I find that we do, that I find we need to stop doing, I find we need, you know what we need to stop doing, things just come up and a noise just make and it just die out. Like we talk about that whole thing,
Too short, too
we
flat.
get some money and we deal and we taking over and then we just forget about that way and the whole, but but we need to like we do that a lot and we need to stop that, we need to stop that and we need to follow through with certain things, with anything.
I agree with you, no Maggie.
We need to follow through.
I agree with you.
Yeah, man.
WC can't make this one too short, too flat.
Yeah, and that's the real thing of the year.
Today, love to come back with the $1.2 billion on the talk show. Now, all that's calling. But I give you money to hold. If I give you money to hold and you have, and I come for my money and you can't give it to me, how am I supposed to consider you? So we should start telling them to consider the man to be a caller or to tell them they can't see that on the issue. Or they can't see that on the issue, but what you telling the people and the man making it, you play a record with the man's statement saying, I have to put the money in the treasury to the $2.2 billion. So what people there about to expect them to see now?
Come closer.
To hear you on the bike. Anyway, what I say there, really and truly, we need to follow up and follow through with everything. They're like, okay, we make a serious thing in time of COVID. The government put us on the $42,000. That's $42,000. I don't want to go 64. Is it 64? The 42 is already exorbitant already. So 64 making it worse, but what's from the initial thing is 42. So I go to the 42. It mad already, that too much. But now we make a rah and economy in shambles, adding all kind of thing we do. And now
You see, but
serious expense on us, the people.
and to go back to what I was saying, because basically what I wanted to bring out is that these people are aware that it is not right, because they could reject it twice.
And it was said by them, that's how you know it.
Exactly.
That's something else to us.
So they know it's not right, so they just not willing to stand up for what is right.
That's right.
You check? So if they're not willing to stand up for what is right,
That's no good.
then we the people
Yeah, man.
have to make sure that the right is the right and the right has to stand. Because if you, that is the responsible party that's supposed to be looking out for the interests of the people, and you're not taking up the right moral positions, then the only thing left is for we the people to ensure that the right moral position is being adhered to, is being taken up. You check? So that is why I say at the end of the day, it's going to come down to us. We the people have to ensure. How you mean?
No, you mean
we have to stand up against them, man.
Today I was reflecting, I was just, I catch a little vibes. And when I check it out, Dominica, what happening to us, Dominica, when your Galvin have it rusted rotten, you have like a hole, and you don't put in pot in it, so it's just getting bigger and bigger, or you have woodens and you don't deal with it, and it just infests in the whole thing. The more we just stay there and we just point out, look at who does that, and then we just leave it alone, and the next thing, just another thing, they're going to be doing and doing.
You're right, man.
Check it, man, and
Right.
it have to stop. And
But of course it has to stop.
So we need to fix that shit.
Of course it has to stop. That
You
is-
see, stopping that game is not just the government that have to fall. When you have people in position, in high authority, as they say, the checks, and the people are in the checks and balance positions that refuse to enforce the law, or pretend that after a certain level of social strata, no laws can apply. So you have Markelson Farrell, head of director of FIU, who willingly turning his back on a blatant fraud against the people of Dominica. Willingly. Is either he's stupid, and I don't like to call people stupid. He's either ignorant, or he's stupid, or he's part of the game. And I'd like to think he's a very intelligent man, so therefore he is part and parcel of the game. He is aiding and abetting the theft and embezzlement of money in Dominica. Markelson Farrell is a guilty participant in what is going on in Dominica. Then you have acting commissioner of police, Corbett.
Valerie.
No. It's Corbett that's in charge of the police station. Corbett.
Yes, Valerie is the superintendent.
No, he's the commissioner that's
He's no longer
important.
superintendent.
He's the assistant to the commissioner.
So
Imagine
two of them,
But that's just a no position.
they have to make a position for them.
That's how stupid Mr. B, my brother. For you to create a position that don't exist in the Constitution. I don't even know what is that, my brother. In the Constitution, I have position for commissioner and a deputy commissioner. There is no place in the Constitution for no assistant, my brother. The assistant to the commissioner to me is the secretary. The assistant to the commissioner should be the secretary.
Should be the deputy.
So now, we have Corbett, and Corbett is the chief of police, an independent body in Dominica.
Supposedly.
And supposedly, but I'm speaking as to how it's supposed to be.
Supposedly.
An independent body in Dominica who is trying to tell the people of Dominica that he has to follow orders in order to enforce the law. My brother, I just bullshit, Mr. Corbett. Orders from who?
Right, we have to draw. See a reference. Belize, right? Basically, same situation. Prime Minister goes spend $1.2 billion in Belize. So what happens? The opposition takes the matter to court. And he's found unconstitutionally spending.
Guilty.
Yes, he's found guilty of unconstitutionally spending the $1.2 million. You know, and it goes on to show that we can say that these people have a democratic state or even a functioning, an independent functioning police force. But we cannot say we have an independent functioning police force. And this is one of the reasons I just say we live in a kleptocracy, because the system is corrupted in all the different departments. Nobody is willing to take up their proper mandate, their legal mandate, which is governed under the Constitution of Dominica. They are not doing their legal, binding
That's your job. That's what the description of their job is.
Exactly. They are not doing it.
That's what told a question asked.
But they will come on the block. They'll come on the block and arrest like a youth man. They'll come around.
The president, Maggie, I mean, why are you willing to do for the people? The president of Dominica will not do nothing for the people of Dominica because the president of Dominica is an unconstitutional president for 2 terms. This president has never been agreed by the opposition, therefore making him unconstitutional. The president must be agreed upon by the opposition and the prime minister. And Charles Séwyè was never accepted by the opposition. He was forced on the people. So therefore he's an unconstitutional president. And being an unconstitutional president who left the cabinet and immediately became president, Maggie will never do nothing for the people. He is there to do for himself. Look at how many diplomats the prime minister have under criminality that the president continued to sign willy-nilly for him without no question, without making a statement in the public. And let me tell you people, the president coming out and say certain things going wrong in the society is not political. Let's not get kid ourselves about that kind of a thing. Like man just have to be getting $30,000 and sit down there and their ass shut. As things are going wrong in the society that the president can clearly understand that we the people in Dominica need to settle and know once and for all, and he's not making no part to help us settle those differences. In fact, he's making it worse. So when the time comes, the president, Charles Séwyè, have to be dealt with. As an unconstitutional president, and therefore the salary that Charles Séwyè has earned for 2 terms as president has to be returned to the state. You cannot have a man who is unconstitutional as the president and is going to walk away with 2 terms of presidential salary. No, that is not to stand. That money has to be returned to the state. 2, Roosevelt Skerrit, prior to his denouncement of his French citizen, sat in the Dominican Parliament for more than 5 years. According to the Constitution, you can be charged for each day as an illegally elected representative. So Roosevelt Skerrit is owing us some money. And when the time comes, we will deal with him for breaking the laws. Don't think we don't know laws, you know, my people. We know a lot of them laws they're breaking. What it needs is enforcement. Yes, and Corbett and the rest of them need to get their act together. You cannot tell me Melissa Popon and they evade taxes on land transfer and the authorities in Inland Revenue did nothing about it. If a poor person make a fraudulent document, police on their back, man arrested. So Skerrit fraud documents, his wife fraud documents, yet none of them not improper. It's not a mistake. It's a habit they have. A bloody habit these people have of defrauding the state. And if the people in Treasury, Inland Revenue, Registry, apparently allowing these guys to just break the law as mistakes. The $1 billion is not a mistake, Mr. Corbett. It is a design defrauding of the Treasury. And you, Mr. Corbett, must make a stand for the people of Dominica. Because when the people of Dominica make a stand against you, Mr. Corbett, and the rest of the government, or you will not say the Dominican people wrong. Because we're giving all you every opportunity to do the right thing where we are concerned as a people.
Like how the hotel fix it in the labor division.
Ujo,
So tell them fix it.
that is why I just tell you, that's why I just always say, right? It's not the politicians we have to really focus on too much on, you know. You know where we have to make our protests? At the police station.
Yes, sir.
And in front of
To enforce that these guys do their work. Because you cannot be having a clear statement about the $1.2 billion and you're telling me you cannot make an investigation against that. If I go in your house and steal your item, brother, the police don't know nothing. I will tell you, boy, I see all I go in your house, you boy, Maggie boy. You go to the police, you make a report that some eyewitness see Tola enter in my house. What do you think the police is going to do?
arrest Tola.
To investigate me. So how comes you cannot investigate the man? This money is not Labour Party money, you know. That is the state money, my boy.
Our
State money is all of us money. We are the shareholders of the state, brother. We need to know what is our position in the country, you know, bro.
If I take basketball money and I put it in a little cash on the side, guys say I have an idea of something I want to do. What do you think on less Salah?
You understand? So he's a volley too.
So how you mean
He does do the same thing.
long time? If you are telling you,
Yeah. No, but not joke. It's real thing, brother. People need to understand that, you know, bro.
Steve Rasta, no matter who do it,
And
do
the
it.
police need to understand that clearly. That we're not going to be protesting against Labour Party or against the present government, you know. We're coming to protest against all you, because all you know right and all you know wrong.
Yes, sir. That's all the job.
Because at the end of the day, look at it, only making a negotiation for better salary under the same guys that have our money in hostage. 0.0% for you, my boy. What happened in there now? What happened in there now?
Yes, 1.125.
Well, no, I'm talking about before.
The longest while.
You understand?
For years upon
Look
years.
now, but what 1.2% can do for you and add it to your salary now, brother?
And when a man taking 50%,
And a tin of sardine is almost $5 already.
Those in-
$4.50 a tin of sardine.
Those in the
boy.
government, what did they do? 50% and 100% of your salary go up with.
But twice.
Yeah, so I 50 twice is
When
100.
these guys came in, they say a minister cannot be drawing $5,000 and $3,000 in.
What?
All right. So if a minister, listen to that, you know. Bojo, hold on. You even going too far. Hold on a while. Or even going too far with all that. The problem there, my brother, we the people that vote in these guys to be in the position they're in today, and we voting these guys for better. You understand me, my boy? And these guys not willing to do better for us as a nation, bro, by at least increasing our salary. You understand? They rather not increase our salary and increase their salary, and we are the ones that give it the
man,
job,
let's go question to that one time.
so what happening there?
Let me ask you a question one time. So hold on a while. So we give them a job. Who they discuss with for that raise there?
But that what I'm telling you, they come back in parliament and discuss that, you know, the people never take a stand against that, you know, Dominican sit down and argue, well, yeah, a politician should be joining that, like,
that is something
but
else.
we don't join nothing. We don't, our salary not increasing, and with the people that laying back, like,
what do they have
my
to
boy,
show?
come on, man.
If you want to get an increase, a salary increase, you are going to show the job I give you there, you do it so good. And you working so hard that you deserve to an increase now.
But of course, at least let us see the improvement in the country.
Where is the evidence of the good work, the good work you're doing for us? All we see is unemployment. We're not producing nothing, we're not exporting nothing, and you're taking a raise. And in time of like this time now, you don't get no sacrifices, you're not making sacrifices. How much people are getting laid off and losing their job and things, so you're not creating no environment for man to get work and make money, and you're only increasing.
This guy is good at
Something else.
putting the people to divide themselves.
That's all
Things we have in the country that will keep the unity within the people, they would rather damage that than develop it. You understand? Look at the playing fields in different communities. Instead they upgrade the playing fields, they damaging them. So here you go, the young people in the community don't have no other choice than to sit down by the roadside, smoke marijuana, who drinking rum, who sniffing cocaine. It's just a lot of nonsense, bro. But when we had the sporting facilities, the youth was occupied.
All the time.
Less opportunities for them to go astray. We have more opportunities to stay focused than going astray at that time. We have to do something about these people, you know, brother. We can't be there, lay back and taking it like it's bread and cheese they're giving us. It's not bread and cheese out there, you know, brother.
Now the bottom line is we need to follow through with when we say and we see the blatant wrong them people doing. These people are doing. We need to follow through with them thing. We need to follow through and dig and reach to the point where we deal with the matter.
Yo, it has citizen arrest, you know. Many ways to skin the cat, you know. We come into the police, you know. The same way the police can arrest us, we can arrest them too, you know.
Yeah, man, if you don't do your job.
But what I hear, boy, the constitution giving you the right to that, you know.
Boy,
we in mad. You see the problem we have in Dominica. We the people not realizing that we in majority, you know, and these guys in minority. And if we decide to take a stand against the wrongdoing, there is no way we can fail, you know, brother.
True.
And if we are God-fearing people, if we are religious people, I think we should take a stand against evil and wrongdoing. Because I do believe in the Almighty, the people think that they serving would be glad that they serving evil and wrongdoing.
Imagine it all. I still on the you see, like same thing as you see the building. I talking to some man and them and they checking like man and them that was, you know, telling me one of the fellas that only want to put the country in turmoil and thing. But now I stick on the 42,000 or 64,000 check it, and the man say he really have a problem with that in particular, but he wouldn't go out and say it. You know, or like a group there you can say it, but he wouldn't go out and say it. It's like why you mean you go and say it? If you know it's wrong, you know it's a problem, but you don't want to discuss them kind of thing and people and thing and you know.
I bet that is a person. I bet that is a person that going to church every Sunday and pray.
I don't think so. but it's, you know what I mean? Maybe not.
But it's something, Maggie.
But I know you say it.
When you look at individuals who hold to this type of thinking, most times people are afraid to come out and speak, and it's only because of the victimization. They will maybe want something from the government, or they maybe have gotten something, or
more.
Right.
More.
Right. You know, so they line up receiving something, or they have hopes of receiving something, you know. So to them, if they come out and speak, they might lose.
Jeopardize that.
Right.
Yeah, they also have those that they feeling they okay and they don't want the government to be against them. They don't want the government to find them like, hey, and put a little sanction on them and cause their business to not be fluid anymore like it should be.
That means the business dependent on government and not the customers that buy from their business.
But though they feel
we rather depend.
Yeah.
So within from independent people to dependable people right now. Dependent people right now.
Because if Mad Maggie is saying is true, and to those people in those groups of Maggie, right? And you telling me that you're so concerned with not receiving from the government as a business owner can only mean your business is dependent on the government. Now, that's some business I can say are probably dependent on somebody self a business to the government services. But when you have, say, for example, a bar, a little supermarket, a little shop, and you're telling me you cannot speak up about the fact that the people are coming around your shop that have no work doing in Dubai because you feel government victimization is because you apparently don't care about your shop profiting. Because if you care about your shop profiting,
I see the customers, Brooks.
You must be concerned about what Pyro think about it, just like what I say for the election or in general. All of us running a little business, they say we're on the streets there. We say on the streets we be, right? We're on the streets. We have marijuana selling. If the mans and them around do have no job, how is the marijuana selling?
Well,
that is the basic thing that person needs to understand, Maggie. You cannot have a business and the customers have no income.
but that is the number one problem with Dominica.
But that is the
Well, watch it.
but that is the problem.
The Prime Minister actually came out and he said it. The economy is $1.5 billion. Government spending is 1.1
So imagine
billion.
that.
So government has more than
Almost the total.
But now we have almost 70% of the spending of the state.
exactly. So that in itself is an issue.
And with that kind of money, you cannot, that money not a taxable money, you know. That's government money circulating, doing government things. That's not value added money the government giving the people of Dominica.
But you know, them people have more money than Nasif and them, they did okay.
But of course they have more money than Nasif
Of
and them
course.
at the moment.
So these people are supposed to tell you, is this kind of people we're supposed to hear not making this kind of money at the end of the year, you know?
No, this type of people, for example, Carl Nassif, Big Boss Carl Nassif. It's Big Boss Carl Nassif that's supposed to come out and say the economy is shit.
For sure.
Because Big Boss Carl Nassif is a money maker. And I know whatever business, auto trade, I'm a customer of auto trade. Auto trade those selling cars.
No, they failing.
Only new two companies are coming out foreign auto trade selling cars too. The other time auto trade wasn't even selling new cars, it was new cars alone. The auto trade cars for $30,000. So Big Boss Carl Nassif have to bring down his level to sell. Rather than a big boss like Carl Nassif or Philip Nassif or all them big man just come out and say, yo, the economy on shit. Yes, but when you're ambitious like Carl Nassif and you want to make the most money in the world, the most money in Dominica, you have to be the head honcho money maker. When the economy going down, you have to check like, yo bro, I myself don't like how the economy going, I myself I come to make money. That is the man that coming to eat the most bread by doing his thing. He have to complain. You understand? You see them big businessmen in America come out and say, well, we find the economy of America going, the president make a bad decision, blah, 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 blah. That you need Republicans, Democrats. Or you telling me every decision the government make, whether it's good or bad for the economy, none of them big businessmen have nothing to say about it. Nothing, no businessman speaks about the economy. And when we talk about those kind of things, and I'll bring it back again, Carl Nassif, big businessman. Mr. Issa is a businessman. Now, Mr. Issa have some of the lowest prices in Rose. So I'm not a customer of Issa. I will say that, but I know Issa has some of the lowest prices in Rose. And if Issa can be complaining that the sales dropping and he have the lowest prices and a lot of low-income people will gravitate to going by Issa. And Issa telling you his sales falling from those low-income people. The sales by Nassif not getting not better, the sales by Nassif falling too. So Nassif and them still have to complain about where the economy going because they are the untouchables in Dominica. Roosevelt go up, Nassif make money. Roosevelt go up, Astor fans go in and make money. They are the untouchables. So no matter which government that come in, them can say they don't find the economy going, government making bad decisions because they are the part of the economy there. We can't touch them, man, no matter what you do, my brother, because they always have investment capital, they are at that level to always be able to protect themselves with the money they make. So they have to be able to say like, yo, this is not going good. And then just be old man Issa will not say this is not going good.
You want to?
What you're saying is,
yeah, I understand.
You see our main problem is that we are not together. We divided. So the people, we're not standing with one another, we're not standing with our people. Because when you watch all the Chinese flood the market and they have all the roads full of Chinese selling things cheap and we the people are them broke, so is by the Chinese they're going because, yeah, you check Chinatown, yeah, but everybody is easy breezy, go and buy a towel there, go buy a mattress, everything is by them Chinese. Which are selling everything. So we the people now, it's a whole system, so the government have us in the position where our pocket low. So we have no choice but to, and even if start things low, but you know, it's the people now have to, you know, among to themselves come together and decide, yo, we need to support each other. Because when you watch it, all the business in town is closing when Chinese stores popping up. And I don't know that MOU are not working for us.
Dominicans need to change their mentality, Maggie, and stop saying it's so it is.
Yeah.
It can be better, man.
Yeah, man.
If these guys can raise their salary, our own can raise too, because it's we that putting them in a position.
Oh, we have to stand up.
So the people need to see that how you willing to raise yours and not my own too. So we need to get rid of you, brother.
And
you're
not only that, you know,
no good for us as a nation.
Not only that, you're raising yours with no you showing the reason why.
Why?
Because we're not seeing no early development, we're not seeing no increase in anything in the business that will give it a run for us. But you want the increase, and you're taking an increase. We're not making money.
You see, you know why? You see that why it is now. That is why I was trying to tell Buju earlier what he was saying about when you're talking about when these fellas are talking about they that have the money, but they don't have no economy, right?
Yeah.
It's true, they have the money, but they don't have no economy for the people. But the money they have for the people is to give them the crumbs, you know, the little cool out, to make you think that better going to come.
Yeah, man.
The people need to stop them nonsense.
Live and obey, and you'll get.
Because you cannot be living depending on a political party like that. You're supposed to be living depending on resources of your country, not a party. And you're supposed to know there's factories, there's other things that can happen.
The environment is there for you to make so that you can have.
Look at the lights on the football, on the Newton football stadium.
Yeah.
When you have games at evening time, there's people that will come with their peanuts, their ice pop. So other people have things that they can depend on to sustain.
Yeah, man.
But when you have to be looking to be begging a politician, problem that there, if the politician can't give it tomorrow, what's going to happen to you?
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying, check it. That's not good leadership, because them man now is taking advantage of that situation to their benefit, and that is that's taking advantage of people. So you see somebody needy, if you see somebody needy and you're a good leader, what a good leader would do, it would find a way, find out how we can help you make money so you can be okay. I don't want to be not giving you a little thing and telling you, you know, stay there, behave, you know, when you're ready, check you again. That's not helping, you're not helping me, my brother. You give me a little thing now and I have to, you know, that's not good for my dignity, for
we go.
I'm here to provide the environment and opportunities so I can make.
Yeah, you're right to some extent, you know, because you say something there and I was shaking, like, you say it doesn't have real, like to say, economic growth. But if you look at it, the economic expansion is outside of Dominica in terms of selling citizenship. A lot of revenues have been generated from the sale of citizenship. In Dominica, there's nothing really generating. There's no real economic. There has not been any economic expansion in Dominica, period. And that's something we all understand. So what these guys are really doing is using the monies derived from the sale of citizenship to take advantage of the people, because they already know in the country there is no, right here in Dominica we have no economic expansion, none. You check, in fact the economy has been contracting for a while, and what they do is use the funds, the revenue from the sale of citizenship to try and mask everything and to try and cover everything up, you know, and this is where they take the advantage of the people, you know. So these are monies that should be used to build capacity. You check, and it's just like what you're saying. You check, to empower the people. This money should be used to empower the people, to build the economy so we can have economic activity within the country. This money should not be used for the enrichment of just a few people, like what we're seeing it being used now. You know, and this is where we have a major problem. You check, so yes, that is why I say I agree with you to some extent and to an extent, because the economic activity of Dominica, the main economic activity of Dominica is basically outside of Dominica, and that is why we see that these guys' main focus is on everything foreign. They have allegiance to foreign people, to foreigners. You check, they are not, their allegiance is not to Dominica, their allegiance is to foreigners. You check, their only thing is when 5 years come, every voting cycle, election cycle, that they have to bribe the people and do all kind of things to try and get us to vote for them. And they use that money to do that in all different forms. You know, so they don't care over the 4 years span. They can milk the cow. You check, so nobody knows how much money they truly making. You check how much security, what cut security is getting from all this, what on the table deal. Nobody really knows. You check, there's none. There's none. No transparency, no accountability. You check, we had a minister, Francine Baron, that came out and publicly said that it's not the people's business or is to know who are the ambassadors of the country. And that is craziness. You understand? So, of course, so you mean to tell me if I end up in... Exactly. So, I mean, these are things that we as a nation, we as a people, we really have to look at. You know, so, yes, Dominica, within Dominica, has not seen economic expansion under this Labour administration, and is the same status quo from 19 when. So that is why the immigration problem has never been solved. We still suffer from massive brain drain, you know, and it's affecting the population in a negative way. So, I mean, we have to want to solve our problems, and right now, for those of us that really interested in solving the issues, yeah, we have to look at it and come together and solve our issues and address our problems. And part of us taking this stance and coming out to people and sharing as much as we can, educating as much as we can, is in a preparation of getting the people to know that an act is coming, a stand is coming, you know, and like all of us, you know, we have to participate in this stand, you check. So if we, as long as we're interested in betterment, whether young, whether old, no matter who you are, we should all participate in taking a stand against this repressive government, you know, and it's clear to see people have been bribed. We don't know how much money, if any, the Prime Minister may pay the commissioner to not do his job or to look the other way. We don't know if these things are happening, but the evidence, when we look at things critically, something definitely is happening, because there's too many evidence of wrongdoing and nobody is doing nothing about it. You know, I mean, see, just before the election, November of 2019, the Prime Minister was internationally accused of selling ambassadorship, where a man provided evidence and everything against this individual, this Prime Minister Skerrit, you know. So I mean, it's not like to say this was just a thing that a guy just came out and just talk, But the man show you records of business transfer, money transfer and all this type of things, you know. Pictures with him at the Prime Minister's office and so on. So there's some credibility to what he's saying, and has this thing ever been investigated? No. Nothing, you know, and
Boy,
you understand?
let me show you now.
So
I
right now is us. Me to hell with the authorities. I telling a man straight. Yeah.
yes,
Right now, we are the last line of defense.
Yes.
You know.
And I want to find out what I want to know what these people are afraid of. What are you? These people are people just like me and you. They put their pants leg one leg at a time. We that put them there, the power you feel they have, it's us that give it to them, and you can take it away from them if they're not doing what they're supposed to do. You understand me? There's no need to be afraid, people. So you don't watch a man like this, big mega star. Boy,
So we need to get rid of these guys
them people
because
call up my brother, what coach only that they are.
we need to get rid of them.
More than what they want and have us. Crown and the place, boy.
These guys are damaging the society and the
Every day man
system.
couple call out boy to all our boy.
We need to get rid of these fellas because even look at as far as these guys go. This fight even go as far to the health system, you know. Putting nurses on contract. When you look at it, frustrating nurses. You know, half of our healthcare services is from foreigners, you know. Spanish doctors and Spanish nurses, you know, brother.
What we doing? So we cannot provide.
We even have
why,
Chinese in the hospital too. They
Why?
cannot even speak English properly. You
So
know.
why these jobs cannot be without people for
The
that?
nurses that can speak English even fighting to understand what this because they don't even train to speak Spanish or Chinese so that they could translate for you with an understanding, you know, brother.
What kind of plan? What's our
To
plan?
the hospital, You see, the last time I went to the hospital, at one time, they had a thing set up, right? And as we were entering the hospital, I went and dropped a friend of mine to the hospital, you know. And as we enter in the hospital, there was a tent with some, I'm not sure if they were doctors but there was some personnel, hospital personnel, right there. And the people could barely speak English, and I'm saying, here it is, that we live in a predominantly English-speaking country. That is our main language, our official language is English, right? And you have people that are receiving people in something as a hospital, and communication is an issue, and I don't know how people could go about their daily lives and accept this thing. When I saw that, I tell a man straight, when I saw that, them man, the people on the vehicle were telling me I was supposed to stop and engage with them people, and I'm like, yo, I am not engaging with nobody that can speak my language. Straight, I just passed them, I stopped, and when the guy started to speak, and yeah, and I'm like, yo, you cannot be serious. You check? You cannot be serious. I just drove the vehicle and go about my business. And I mean, right now, we are the ones, we are the people, we as Dominicans,
That's too much, boy.
we have to want better for ourselves, our people, our society, our country, our communities, you know, and this is one of the reasons I just tell people self-care is of the utmost importance. We have to care for ourselves in a real healthy way, in a meaningful way, you know, and really look at these things, because a healthy mind can be able to identify a nonsense, you know. But when you just accepting any and everything, you don't stand for nothing. Where are your principles? You know, you will allow people to abuse you and take it and not fight back. But the abuse has to stop. and we need to put a stop to this abusive relationship that we have with our government and this leader named Moun Séwyè. It's an abusive relationship, and in this abusive relationship it has to come to an end. So we on the crusade, we're trying to impact as many people as we can, because when the time comes and we call on the people, we want to see thousands in the streets, my brother. Thousands. Right now that is our last option and our only option.
Only option right now.
Yeah.
So what you want, my brother? Violence, we just come in.
No, we don't need to break your house.
We just have to just come in the streets and demand justice. Yeah, we come in to demand justice. The courts doesn't want to give justice. The people that has been employed to ensure that justice is supposed to be administered, they are not doing their jobs. Or you telling me a man have no known business? His only business is that he is an elected official, but yet still he come in and boast to the world that he is one of the wealthiest persons in the country and the Caribbean region. So how you derive your wealth? If it's me, if it's me as a common individual, long time FIU on my doorstep.
Why tell you that even ice pop the man sell? State resources the man sell, boy, that is dangerous act, my brother.
But it's illegal.
Illegal act that day, my brother. If they only selling drugs, it's not charging in court now.
But them is just as bad and even worse than selling.
But that worse than drugs, my brother. That is prostituting the country, boy. And the country is we the people, Only prostitute in the country, the people believing well they choose the prostitute. We the people that been suffering like that, brother. We need to understand these things, my boy.
No, we have a set of people that feel it's okay. Like one of the persons saying, like feeling like the economy is okay.
The economy is okay. Hold on a while. Where you have to go is by the market. Everything by the market. Hold on. Everything by the market used to be $5. Last week Saturday when I went by the market, they don't even tell me $4 a pound of cabbage again. It's $2. Everything is $2 now. Because why? They're not selling.
Well, Douglas Simon, he's not making money. Ha 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 ha. Is that why he bought the land by each show for millions? Next comment. In the same economy you're screaming about Nassif open KFC. Do it, save a lot and fresh market. Okay. Now, Issa, not 21 years. Issa is a 70-year-old businessman. I asked the fans that there for how much years. Issa supposed to have the ability to save up money even if his business not doing well. He buying something with his personal savings. Have nothing to do with his ability to say that business going down. Two separate issues, yeah, brother? Two separate issues. Now, you want to talk about in the same economy, KFC, Do It Center, Save a Lot, Fresh Market. Mr. Nassif Carl Nassif in particular you're referring to is a good businessman. In fact, he's one of Dominica's prodigy businessman. His family had wealth and he turned his wealth into more wealth on top wealth. Respect that. KFC is a franchise business, my boy. It's not a grassroots grown business. So the foundation of that set in stone. Do It Center is a franchise business set in stone. Well, hold on, Pyro.
Apart from that, just one comment. Do It Center basically was already there.
Good, by coming to that, Pyro. Now, Mr. Nassif's father retired and handed him the keys to the rest of the empire, meaning J.E. Nassif. And the other business he had around Roseau. So what did Mr. Nassif do? Douglas Simon. Mr. Nassif turned the hardware shop that his father had in Roseau and Goodwill Road into one business, Do It Center franchise. He franchised it. Then this place in Roseau, he had already invested in supermarkets, so he expanded his supermarkets. But I'm sure if you ask Mr. Nassif, how are the sales in his supermarkets relative to a few years ago, he going to tell you it's down.
Okay.
Do not confuse them on personal savings with businesses that they run, my brother. Have some understanding with reality. Business and your personal savings, so what I can buy with my money I save. Because I can have 10 businesses, each of them giving me $1,000, and I have $10,000 and I buy a car. What the business is, one or two of the businesses.
That person you give me that explanation there, that person is living in Dominica presently. I wouldn't give no other food a response.
No, when I make comments like that, these are comments from people that are from Dominica.
Yeah.
No.
It was fun.
No, hear that now. Let us look at that. Where are the economic statistics? Why isn't government releasing the economic statistics? They have a statistical department, you know. So why do they not, on a regular basis, every quarter, release the statistics of the economy? You know, but we know what the economy in Dominica is, my brother. You check me. The economy has been doing poorly, and you hear the Prime Minister come out and he says it. Oh, right now the economy is cash strapped. That it doesn't have enough money in circulation. Okay. It does seem so. It does seem so. You check. So I mean, you understand, because going to be very hard. So when people come out, there are always people that going to have the opportunity to make something out of whether it's a bad situation, whether it's a good situation. There are always those of us that will find a way to benefit out of it, you know. So you coming out and speaking about 1-2 persons and individuals, it makes no sense. Dominica suffers from serious migration. People would not be running away from Dominica if the economy was doing good, is one. And let us look at the economic statistics. Why does the statistical department not release the statistics of our economy? You know, and this, when you can answer this question, then maybe I can think of what you say. But till then, makes no sense, because you're only speaking of one individual.
Just reconvict Dominicans buying, you know. They don't offer brand new vehicles like before. Farmer man used to just go and buy a brand new pickup. But right now it's recon vehicles, cash money. Right now it's recon vehicles we buying him. With all the vehicles you see in Dominican thinking, yeah, the economy booming so high, the people have to look online to buy the vehicle at the cheapest point they can, you know, 500 US, 300 US. You understand what I'm telling you? Before we could afford to buy a vehicle cash, we could afford to build our home. You never seen people building houses that like before. Building supplies, me send it to come to Dominica if you're not in Dominica, and go by the people that selling building supplies and ask them how business is right now and before. You understand? Look at Max Roy, how he developed before. From a small business, building supply businessman, how he expand his business place right now. This guy need to come here and see what it is.
All the man have to understand, have to take into consideration is the followers and advisors.
You know what Mr. Understanding, Maggie? Let me make a clear statement to Mr. You see, our agenda is not about bashing the government for the sake of another political party, you know, my boy. We don't bash in the government, you know, we speak in reality to the people. Whether you're red, whether you're blue, we have to make you know what that against us. And what that against us right now as the people, how I see in it, is the politicians. All of them.
On both sides.
Against the people. None not willing to show their willingness for the people. None not willing to show that they want better for the people, my boy. So when you're talking about the economy is doing good, you need to come Dominica and live. You need to come and see how bright the economy is. Come and invest into a small business, brother. The doors are open. there's always room for improvement. We will need good investors in the country. So come.
So yes, back to this gentleman there.
I just feel this is a distraction.
So no pyro, you have to engage. It's not distraction. You mustn't be so quick to be dismissive sometimes, my brother. After 2 hurricanes and a financial crisis, yes. When the UWP were in government, they literally drove DSS to crisis level and could not meet the public servant salary after Maria public servants were paid. Now, Douglas Simon, I don't know how old are you, but enough with your UWP 20 years ago. UWP gone, seal, sign, seal, bed, bury, gone. Let us specifically look at after Maria, because we got 2 hurricanes, a financial crisis, but let us look at after Maria. Since after Maria, how has the government developed Dominican people? How has the government provided employment for Dominican people? How has the government expanded the economy for Dominican people?
I wouldn't
How has
even
the
just...
government improved the standard of living for Dominican people since Maria?
I wouldn't even just say since Maria.
No.
Let us look at these people's policy all together. Yes, but what I'm saying, let us look at the policies all together. We do not have policies that encourage Dominicans, you know. You check me. The government policies are geared towards foreigners and the facilitation of foreign firms.
I want that person to tell me I'm Douglas again. Is it right for the government to offer? Mr. Not living in Dominica. I assume that is not a person that living in Dominica. I want Douglas Simon to tell me if he find it right for the government to offer civil servants 1.25% raise. 1.25 Douglas. Tell me, you find after Maria that so much this and so much that and blah 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 blah. Do you think it is right for the government to offer the civil servants of Dominica a 1.25% raise after billions of dollars raised? But I know what you're going to say, COVID-19. That's what you're going to say, the COVID-19 crisis.
Now watch that.
That's what you're going to say.
After Maria, right?
Going to say, well, the government under COVID-19.
But under COVID-19 scare, it took $64,000 a month for his rent. So what is he talking about? So anybody that come and talk about COVID, my brother, is
still putting 20% added on people.
I want Douglas Simon to, he was smart enough to give his response. I want him to be intelligent enough to answer those questions now.
Well, what Dominica have generating money? Ask him that. What factory?
boss.
No, Tola. That person was smart enough to make their dumb comments. Now I want them to be intelligent enough to think of the questions asked to them and give a response. What has the government done to elevate Dominican people since Maria? And don't come with your bogus comment of, COVID-19 shit, bro. Give a real thing.
Young man,
I'm waiting for his response to I myself watching for when that person respond. Douglas Simon, I want you to tell the people on the internet.
Every man response, we are a set of puns of propaganda.
Good, because he cannot answer legitimate questions.
That is why I tell you this. You see me? That is why I check in. This man is just a distraction. You're just sticking away from people's conversation right now.
It's good to engage with people, Pyro,
sometimes. You see, sometimes. But you see, right now, for me personally, I check it. You have to move forward there. Right now, there. Yes, Tola. Right now.
Yeah. 2,000 students. My brother, you know that the government have paid the tuition for the 2,000 students, right?
How many of them are back in Dominica?
How much of them are back in Dominica?
Maggie can give us a...
You know what happening? Or you overseas just repeating talking points for fools, my brother. A dumb fella.
You might have to know the amount of people, of those students that are back in Dominica presently do not have financial standing for their educational stand.
Try something else.
Man, it's sad, you know.
Can you tell me what remember the students you just called the overseas? Can you tell me, Douglas Simon, what policies the government has put in place for the Dominican people to benefit, grow their economy and grow their personal wealth? There is zero. So don't come over there living overseas, my brother, drinking the blood of the sufferers and trying to defend rubbish.
For his better, that is the problem we have.
You don't defend rubbish for your personal betterment at the expense
That
of
is
the
the
rest of
problem
us.
we have in Dominica. These fellas there, these people there, right? They know that I telling you, we are Mr. Bean. So Mr. Bobby foreign selling one to liquor caution for his people and them, playing on the ignorant of the people and them. To vote for Labour, whereas he gaining his big benefits on the same people that they're struggling. But it's either or I do have a choice to say it like that, because I cannot understand a man is making a statement like that. And if you're in foreign, my boy, making a statement like that, well, the economy is so good, Dominica, well, come back home. In America, let me tell you something, in America, you must pay for water, you know, and whether to bathe, whether to drink, you know. Well, there are places in America, yeah, you can get water for free. The two by well, thanks for correcting that, Perry. But there are certain places.
Yeah, once you leave your house, money must spend in your state and euro.
Money must spend. It do a bombing right. It do a bombing right. Them places, you know.
Man say, boy, imagine he must say, I ask him
He
living
I see, Mr. Up till now, the man has not been able to address not one of the comments, not one of the issues, but he's just going on and on speaking nonsense and typical Labour Party, Labour attitude of just nothing. Right? There's nothing intellectual about what this man is saying, nothing of substance, nothing of value to say, well, okay, well, you're talking about the economy, but no, look some statistics, look some, nothing of value, nothing of substance. And for me, this is why I keep saying that, you know, when we say no time for fools, you have to be able to identify the fools off the back, you know, my brother. You check me, and you see, like, dude, he's a fool, because up till now, he has yet to come with no scientific explanation, no nothing, but just pure, I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. Anyway,
we have to
you know something, let's continue with our...
again for people to see what kind of defense government supporters does have. They don't have no defense. They don't have no explanation.
Yes, it's true. You're right, FM. You're right.
So every now and
sometimes, yes, it's good to expose them.
Just like when we go Séwyè on the weekend, and we engaged Tony. Tony couldn't give us any credible response.
Well, Tony was drunk. And
no, I just speak to Tony every now and again. Tony have that Labour Party mantra and explanations and excuses, no matter drunk or sober. But he couldn't give you any credible response. Even his responses he gave was trapped into it. For example, he gave a response of the government building health centers.
Yeah, who building it?
One, who building the health centers, and two, the health centers is at a debt.
Yeah.
A debt that we must pay back. But we don't keep that money in house.
Whilst we have over 50% of our youth unemployed, being wasted on the side of the road. You check me. Over 50. You understand? Away. You're giving the money away to foreigners.
All of them by the man have nothing to say. Well, Pyro ask him where he working. Yeah, that same tone in Séwyè. Now, go ahead, Maggie. Now, let me tell you, the partner not called there. These are the kind of people like the partner in Séwyè, Tony. You can remember the question we asked him? Because these are the kind of people, this prime minister that's escape under the law. When they get caught up with the law, he has escaped them. So them callers and people that making them kind of statement. These are the people that call in to this disrupt and this mess up people program. These are the kind of people. Because that kind of person can never tell me that is a right thinking person to tell me Dominic have economy and talking about Karl Nassif and these people. My boy, the people have nothing. The people is broken in the. You tell me about a system, a magic system. When them people get up caught up with the law, these are the kind of people that come into this district and defend a system. But we're not there to defend no system. We're there to get that system or rise up the people to get that system out because there's no way for the people.
It's a broken system.
But of course it's broken. Or you can have over 50% of your youth sit down on this side of the road. And you come in and defend that. I don't have time with this man.
Listen to
I
me.
don't have time.
Listen to me.
Straight up, I don't have time.
In Dominica, you see, like bring back the same thing to the thing. If you see, you have a house and you have a pads that are rotten so you can fix it up and patch it up and make it to go whole again to work. But you see that one we have right now, it passed that point. So right now we have to just wash it up. We have to take out all it poo-wee. We have to take out all the poo-wee material and put fresh material there. So we have to fix that broken system and that rotten system, you understand me? And as we on health center there, let me tell you something. See right now, I calling on all the people and them from the constituency of the South. Newtown, Bath State, Loubier. You see, by the church there, the health center building there, we're going to go there and find out how many people from the constituency that are employed there. But first we want to know, are there people in the constituency who would like a job there? Because we don't want to just go there and they have man not interested in a job. Yes, so we know we have people, but we want to ensure when we're ready, not us, you know, them, all of us, with them, we are going to march to that job, that project, health center, and we're going to demand work. You understand me? We're going to demand work. So we're making them know, Newtown, Bath State. I know I have a youth in Emsor, 20-year-old, 6'5", tall. Things crucial in this home. I know you want work. So you're saying you're going to ask people if they want. I know what I want. I want when we go there. We have people. No, I know why I say it, because you might go and talk for man next thing man checking, you know, and I feel like I look like a dirty shot in front of you.
The first thing you have to do. You don't go and find out. The first thing we have to do. The first thing we have to do is not go and find out how many people from the constituency that are working there. No. The first thing we have to do is engage the young people we see by the roadside every day. There's nothing left than they sit down by the road like it's for traffic department they work in. Take number plate.
I see they come with number plates.
I'm telling you, bro. So that is who we have to be addressing. But let me tell you now, are you willing to stay without work, or are you willing to get work so you can have money in your pocket? Yes. Because there cannot be a big project like that in the constituency. And I know plenty of them vote Labour. Yeah. We not by Labour we vote for.
And they were taking drain and things so far.
Labour we vote for. So the 2 days work good for us then. Yeah. So the 2 years project is not good at all for us. No. 2 years should have when you finish, you can buy a bicycle, you can buy a little car if you feel like, or build a little house or something to develop yourself. Yeah. You cannot have those kind of big infrastructures going on while people not working. It's the same thing I was telling the people in Séwyè. We're happy for the jetty, just like we're happy for the health center, but we need the work as the people. How are you telling me the economy going to trickle down to one another now when we're not getting the work? Why is in Séwyè and we explain that to the people who pass in Chinese? How many of them buying beer?
Jamais pas.
How many of them buying a bakes?
Jamais pas.
Not even a barbecue chicken they buy.
All they pass it is watch people in their face.
Yeah. Like it's a show.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. And the money that's supposed to be turning in the economy, it going back at their home.
Yeah. That is what happening. But you understand? To me, how I see that supposed to be working, you have a pal rep, you have a constituency, you have an office. That office supposed to be saying, you see, today, from that date to that date, We register all carpenters, all helpers, all laborers, come and register, come and put.
I want to stop you there. That's not even supposed to be a political thing.
By right.
Government.
Not from the office, but somewhere where they can come off beside the PAL rep office, but somewhere where the project gonna be held, like the people gonna put down their names. So when that project ready to start, then you'll call up that work and say, hey, we need 5 carpenters, 4 laborers to start up with. We'll call these people from the community, carpenters that they select, helpers, hold on to that.
I can cut you short there. For it to reach the point where you go into there. First thing we're supposed to see in the community where the project is going to be built is a billboard.
Yeah.
We're supposed to see a billboard to give us the awareness that there's a project coming. So
yeah, all during that time, right, all during that time, that billboard's supposed to be up.
So man, we see
because
that project coming, let me go to the office to sign up my name or ask for a project as to how things is working.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be
building to free, no billboard. Help center building wrong the country, no billboards. My brother.
But hold on.
These guys have no.
That is why I stop rising. Hold on, Tola. Before the billboard even get there, right? Remember now, government have a project. Now, hold on, man. Government has a project, right? So, if government has a project, government has engineers, government has architects, government has quantity surveyors, government has project managers. Government have their project team, you check. Remember, we are a small economy, we are a small country, we are an island developing state. Or they call it seed. Seeds, we are seeds, small island developing states. So we are a member of we are a seed. So we have to look at how this thing is being approached. We already know that over 50% of the youth in Dominica is unemployed. That is not just a saying thing, and we can see it. We can just drive through any community. You must see the youth on the side of the road, nothing for them to do. So it's visible, you know. And then what is government putting in place? Are there training schools? Are there trade schools to teach people carpentry? We have all these projects coming to Dominica. Health centers, we have hospitals, we have roads, we have apartments, we have entire communities being built. But how many trade schools were built in preparation for getting the people to be able to be employed in these activities, construction activities? You check me. How many training sessions? How many things? Look, you have an international airport is going to be built. How many training sessions has there been kept? You check. So you're not even preparing your local capacity to be able to deal with that influx of work that it's supposed to have. Yes. You check. So it's like the government clearly showing that they are not in the interest of the people. You check, because if we have such high unemployment, then why the need for importing so much labor? You know, you even importing laborers in Chinese workers down to laborers, and normally laborer is a job that is left for locals. In any country you go, normally laborer is a job that is left to locals. You give out skill certificate, what they call that, workers permit to people that are more skilled, that are skilled workers. Skilled workers are the ones that's supposed to get working permit, you know. They are not supposed to be working permit being issued to laborers, you know, my brother. Yet still we have Chinese laborers being employed in Dominica. So I don't know what the MOU with China says. Nobody in the public realm can tell you. You check, and it's just problem after problem, compounding problem after problem, you know, and there's no discussion of the issues on a how should I put it, on a governmental level with or engaging the public, you know. So their way of solving things is just force it down your throat and is with beer foreigners. We do not have a local company that could compete with none of these imported foreign construction companies, not one local company. So how are you telling me our government is not seeing it fit to build our local capacity to be able to compete even on a regional level? You check, look, right now we're supposed to be going into the construction of an international airport, and we cannot even say we can look onto a local company, right, that can compete with any of these foreign based firms. You check. So to some people it might not be an issue, but for me, I'm an architect by profession. I learned construction economics at university, and this is a major issue. And anybody that knows and understands the construction activities, they're supposed to know that this is an issue. Projects of these magnitudes are realized and done by governments, not just for having the project, the completed element or the completed building or whatever it may be, infrastructure, whatever it may be. But these projects are also one of the major reasons that these projects are instituted is to ensure that that money is being injected into the economy through the supply of wages. You check? Because construction is one of the largest activities, it occupies one of the largest activities in any economy, right? And in construction, you have a lot of workers, laborers at the largest base. When you can have a large sector of your society being able to being employed, that is direct money into your economy. You know, and in Dominica we are not seeing this. You check, because the base that's supposed to be getting this money, the young person fresh out of school, they are not being engaged. You know, people have to say, oh, you have to look for your own, and no, you have to guide the youth, help them, guide them. You check, we all need guidance. You check, we cannot leave it there into a dog-eat-dog world. No, give them guidance. Don't allow them to go astray. Don't give them the opportunity to go astray. You check me. Give us the opportunity for us to be able to be productive members of society. You know, and this is the type of things that we have to look at as a community, as a society. You check. So we have to look at how we're moving forward. You know, and how our government is treating us, we as a people, you know. So, definitely, these projects, we cannot continue sitting by and look at these projects being done by Chinese that come from more than halfway across the globe.
Yeah.
Whilst we sit down and we just there. We check, we have to risk our life, backdoor, all kind of nonsense. You check me, pull up on street corner, sell drugs, all kind of thing, breaking and opening, stealing, you know. So we have to look at those things.
Yeah, another question, Pyro, and all I'm asking is to the same thing that we doesn't follow through. See that MOU thing that we keep saying for years that we don't know what is in the MOU, like, oh, we just keep saying that. There no way that, like, there's no, who is the person, who are the people that can find out that information for us? Like, that is our information, that's Dominican information, like, we keep saying we don't know, we as people don't know. And them fellas, they have the understanding between them and the Chinese. But it's not between them and the Chinese, it's between us and the Chinese.
Exactly.
So how we don't know, and we keep saying we don't know, but we need to know, it's our business. So
right now,
how do we find out? We need to find out.
It's more than 20 years, man.
Yeah, man, but we need to find out, my brother. I can't hearing that.
That's supposed to be platter, bold, in, as you enter in ministry or anywhere, that's supposed to be bold. You know.
Not about entering ministry, but it's supposed to be knowledge that the public can access. You check,
Right.
and then the thing about it, if we claim that we are in a democracy, like we're supposed to be, in a democracy, government supposed to be responsible and transparent and accountable to the people, the ones that vote them, not just the ones that vote them, but to the state, the country, the people, we the citizens of the nation. Because when a government comes into office, it's not about who vote for you. You check? It's about the entire nation. You check me? So, yes, they're supposed to be transparent. There's supposed to be levels of transparency, accountability, and so on. And we definitely know we have not gotten this type of treatment from our government. There is no accountability. There's no transparency. We check, and it just continues. But right now we're on the mission. So who wants to come and speak can speak. But definitely we're on the mission. The crusade continues, and the crusade is on the mission of getting rid of this rogue administration. You check me? Definitely. Yeah.
And the people on them who seem to be comfortable with what is going on, and they are not interested in dealing with, seeing that we have a problem. They know everything that what is going on is wrong. They know a lot of bullshit happening, but they seem to be comfortable because they, you know.
Yeah, and
that
is what it boils down to again, Maggie. Some slaves were comfortable with slavery, whilst others were not. And even if in the back of their mind they knew slavery was not right, but they were comfortable with slavery, they sold some of us into slavery. And today we see a repeat of history in a different form. You check, but the principles of what happened is the same. You check?
So I tell them, the people on them, yeah man, I telling them, you know, if you're okay, my brother, with slavery,
no, because
do
that's
not try to prevent man that want to be free from speaking and doing what they need to do to be free. You understand me? Do I have nothing to tell man, my brother, if you see you're not interested in being, you don't liberate yourself, stay in your thing, but don't have people and try and tell people what you're doing, and you don't do hear that, my brother, because you are Irish, so cool, but don't try and stop the people and them, you know what I mean, and don't try and take advantage and get people to join to do things to benefit you and to keep you comfortable. You check it? Yeah, so you're encouraging people to support something that benefiting you. And they themselves, you know, they just you know, believe in you, but at some point, my brother.
But look at the perfect example. Their parents, the NAP workers, their parents selling them into slavery because they're making them accept free working days out of 5, my boy. You understand me? That is like sending their children back into slavery. The same set of people that tell you they'll take care of your children, they'll take care of you. The parents accept to make the children vote for them. You check? And the same days, my boy, 3 days. And we know what day is today that cannot help nobody. So that's why I tell you, every time you have to do something financially is a sacrifice. Because your pay cannot help. You check? Because things tight in the air and people not watching the bright the way. Believing well is like God send. What God send? No boy. They tell you in the last days they'll come with all kind of name to fool the people. But that is a bunch of evil men and women, my boy. We have to get rid of these people. And the only way out, we have to get rid of these people. These people with nothing to us and then pure sufferation. We cannot live like that no more. Too long.
What these people has done is they has taken the country hostage, you know. The people on them, they have the people on them afraid. You know, you hire them, and when they come in the position, and now they just turn the business on the people and have the people and them afraid. You see a man doing nothing, you check in, you under that collar, but well, is that collar putting it on, you cannot see, tell him, man, I don't under that collar, check in, you like,
You don't have a choice.
you know, that to my brother, that happening to all you.
A lot of the people that been bullied by the guys that's supposed to be doing the good of the state.
Yes, because they make it acceptable. People just accept them thing.
The guys that are supposed to be
Victimization.
doing the state, which is the police, they are not willing to do the work of the state. They're supposed to stand for the people, but they're standing against the people and standing with the politicians.
It's not the government.
So the people are being feared, thinking that if they do this, boy, the politician and that they have the police, and the police and the politician is the one, and they will victimize us however we look at it. But there need to be some form of separation as to what is police, what is a political party, what is a government,
Exactly.
what is a country, and what is a state, you know, brother.
And this is one of the things that this man has done. They have blurred the lines. There's no different definition between the state and political party. And a typical example of that, Maggie is right in front of your door.
Yeah, man.
You check, as soon as you open your door, you see a government office dress in a Labour Party decoration.
Madness, that, my brother. That is a problem.
Not supposed to be.
That, and I take a photo of it, you know, and I go to publish, you know, I have to publish those kind of things, you know, I have to start putting up billboards, you know, to make people on them, I don't know, I have to start making the people on them see what is, you know, going on and what they need to, you know, we cannot just keep speaking it, we have to start to act it, and we have to follow through. My thing for tonight is follow through, and it's time we follow through on a lot of things that we a lot of things that's coming, boom, we boom, and then boom, that let's go to shoot to flam, and on to the next one. What? And then the bulldozer man thing. We forget about already. Next one, my brother. And so that going, my brother. Boy, we need to deal with them things, my brother. Okay, man, let's go with us. Kick me, boom, boom.
Maggie, that's why we're on that mission.
Yeah,
the people
man.
is broken. We have to try to and give the people the courage again. The people broken, Maggie. That's why the people so separated, you know, Maggie. It's broke. A thing like that, a kind of serious thing, a livelihood, that's bull. You think in another place where you see the people always together, my boy, you think them things gonna happen?
That is all the system.
It's because the people, the system know where they look. My boy, Maggie, that's not a joke thing, you know, from the beginning, them man put that down and they plan that, you know, to divide the people, to keep the people away from each other.
Yes.
And when the man will execute their mission perfectly, you know, and we seen it today, you know.
You see the thing they call it, they used to call soft drink, I mean, slow poison. That process is that's how it is. The process that year after year it entrenches.
When man as youth man growing up, right in New Tongue there. One thing I always say, and I tell man, as a young boy growing up in New Tongue, no man. One thing I had known from the elders and the older fellas, no man was never allowed to come in Newton and take advantage of nobody. Not on the watch of them elders, man. You check. People used to, no matter your differences, people used to come together and make sure Newton people stand for Newton people. You know. You check me. That is a thing we see growing up, you know, my brother. You check me. And it's just like what I say, no, the people divided, so we're not standing together. They're not, you check me. So, because that man can just come in and just speak out one, and do what they want to check. You think a time like before, in the 80s and even the early 90s, and so, you could have bring in Chinese to come and build a community center in Newton and fellas sit down there like nobody care. Huh?
By telling you in Rasta.
So today,
we're going to deal with that thing.
So today now, you feel like our generation supposed to sit down
Moun Séwyè,
and accept. No, sir.
Serious people, you know, we're going to bring people for, we're going to take the people and we're going to get jobs on that project in our community. Yes.
But the thinking is we. But the thinking is
that going to block the project. They'll be surprised.
Don't spill the beans now, man. I'm to you, my brother.
It's against everybody.
Oi,
The shopkeeper are making money.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
The
Leave that
bank are
alone.
making money.
My brother.
The bread depots are making money in the communities. Everybody suffering, my boys. Look at it in Sufre. When the lady see the Chinese person and we explain that to her, she couldn't say it's a lie because the Chinese I guess I want to know how long did they do that project already?
Yeah, and she was saying, never buy
Never said to them.
one mix.
That's madness. Like when they thinking that it's but no, it's the same people that they're suffering every day. As you say, Maggie, they go become a time people cannot take it anymore, my brother. Whether they support labor or they support workers or they support, they wouldn't be able to take no more because that is the level of victimization, you know, brother. How long you going to keep victimizing and accept it? Come on, man.
The people are need to make an income, my brother, so they can buy things for youths and them, my brother. It's crucial in the place, I'm telling you, you know. I trust me, you know, Rasta. I don't know, you know, man have ambition, man have, you know what I'm saying, but there's nothing to turn in, my brother. Them man have the man have the money up there and not making it, not trickling down to the common man and them on the streets to check it. So it's not benefiting us. The management of the country is not benefiting us, you understand me? And okay.
And they saying it, you know.
Boy.
He herself coming out and say it.
Who's that?
The Prime Minister, the Minister of Finance carry it, Roosevelt carry it. He herself coming out and tell you, well, the economy, cash trap and things bad and really and the economy not good.
But in a house.
But not just in a house, you're giving away the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're giving the money to foreign firms.
Send out.
When you each of these major projects that you give to a foreign firm is the bulk of the money going out in.
Pyro, you're talking about $100 million World Bank loan that was taken to build the Marigot Hospital and numerous health centers around the island.
Yep.
Now, all these, well, not all, the majority of, well, all these projects are done by foreigners, whether it be the Lucians, whether it be the Chinese, whether it be the Chinese.
Who is government developer?
MMCE.
Exactly.
So now,
MMC that's subcontracting.
so now
all this
look at
foreign
it, you know, because some people just want to have all kind of statistics, but they don't have the critical statistics for people to understand what are truly going on. You have MMC, which is a passport developer story, but yet when the government takes $100 million loan, they give it to MMC. It doesn't go to public works, it doesn't go through Ace Engineering and Stuco and all the rest of the crew. It goes back to MMCE. So after MMCE was 1.2 billion in escrow on the side of the treasury, MMCE gets another 100 million loan that Dominicans have to pay. So MMCE generating free money on paper from our passports, and then when we take our loan, MMC gets the profits on the loan while we pay the debt. Now,
well, and one of the saddest part of all this, no tendering, no accountability, no bid contracts. So these contracts are just, I don't even mind it was given to local firms for us to allow the building of the capacity or some kind of a way. But no bid contracts to foreign firms.
so to the people that just don't seem to understand the destructiveness of the government and have all sorts of petty side arguments that they want to make to distract the people from actually listening to what we have to say. When you take $100 million loan and you give away 95% of the monies to foreigners, how do you build or circulate money in the economy? So out of 100 million, we have 95 million going out of state, and we the Dominican people getting to keep $5 million in our economy and pay the debt of $100 million over X amount of years. If you're an idiot supporting that, you're an idiot supporting that, but we smarter than that, and we will never lead our people to supporting something that is totally against their well-being. So if anybody doesn't prefer the Chinese take 5 million, as say, let's just say consultants, and you circulate 95 million in the Dominican economy, if you find that you have a problem with that scenario, you need to, I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say.
Bonjour, you know, I was checking that Pyro. So the building is Labour Party constituency office, but it is also a government office.
Exactly.
So you know what is happening. So the government is paying for the bill for the ready rent for Labour Party.
That is pure. That is the identity. You had Bojo telling you of corruption. That is illegal. You know that is illegal activity.
Corruption.
Yes.
Office cannot be looked. You see, that is the kind of a bullshit we just accept. And when we speak about it, you have idiots coming and trying to.
It have a government plaque on the building telling you that is government assistant program office.
It is an office of the Prime Minister, that their assistance program, that is the placard on it. Yeah. Something to do with assistance from the Prime Minister office. Government building for government plaque cannot be used as Labour Party constituency office. Labour Party, no. Labour Party, by right, supposed to find some other place to rent, or the government have to find some other place to rent. They cannot be in the same place together.
I agree with you.
100% corruption.
It is.
And that is what we just talk about when we talk about.
I agree with you.
Of government
and party politics.
Politics.
Yes.
We don't mix in the issues here. The issue at hand is we have a government that's circumventing the law, breaking the law, and robbing the people. Yeah. And if you can't understand the government robbing the people, the evidence of the government robbing the people, then you're using your education as a tool to keep people in wickedness.
Definitely.
So you will come with statistics, you will come with this, you will come with that, but your aim of those things...
With statistics, what are you talking about?
You will keep those two just to keep people in wickedness. No, that people have to come like a stat. It's just like people have to come and read Bible for the Bible. The part of the Bible.
Government statistics outdated, you know. I hope you know that. Most of the statistics government release is outdated, and a lot of it is doctored. What day I was reading a thing and I said, after Maria, Dominica population was still 70,000. Well, it is a known fact that over 10,000 people migrated from Dominica after Hurricane Maria. Okay, that is not a question. A lot of these people have not even come back. Even if some came back, but they are still. So, definitely.
Ross was part of our population.
Okay.
So when you have
I rest my case.
People leave and never come back.
So when people talk about, anybody that tell you about statistics, that is why I say they do not release the statistics on a regular basis, or even for you to be able to critique the statistics, you know. You check me, you cannot even scrutinize that. Because from the time you start to watch that, you're seeing that it's bogus thing already. So
not making a smart kind of fool.
You have to keep it real, my brother. You have to keep it real. The problem with the government is one. The government is breaking the law.
Definitely.
And anybody that for a country must stand with the law. They must. Anybody that
the covenant tell you the rule of law. Why is Blackmore favorite word? Rule of law.
So
it looks like the rule of law is for us alone, man. The population alone.
The rule of law, especially where it should be expressed against the executive, where it should be expressed against the executive of Dominica should be.
Give me some water.
Well, I can drink it.
Water.
So we have to be clear. The government breaking the law. There are a number of laws that the government has broken. And I don't go and say just one person in government, like say, scared break the law. The government, the collective, has been breaking the law. The law breaking has been led by the Prime Minister.
Definitely.
So we
That is without
can
a
try to get confused with how much people left the countries in the 80s. We can try and get ourselves confused with how much statistics that are there and blah, 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 blah. But the fact of the matter is, the evidence of the government breaking the law is today.
True.
It's not yesterday, not 20 years ago. It is today. And we have to act on the things that are happening today, not the things that happened yesterday or 3 years ago. And since Maria, the Prime Minister has said, yes, Douglas Simon, to you up there, because you're answering everything on the people. The Prime Minister said, if he had put the money in the budget, it would be $2.2 billion. Section 76 of the Constitution makes no bones that all monies coming to the Treasury must go into the consolidated fund, and then it can be distributed into any other escrow account. The Prime Minister has broken the law. There is no excuse for him breaking the law. Whether you vote for him, whether you support him, whether you do what you want with him, the fact of the matter is he has broken the law. Then with the breaking of the law, he has offered a no-bid contract to Anthony Hayden and MMCE, a no-bid contract of $1.2 billion. This no-bid contract was then used to build apartment buildings that were overpriced and inflated to the government of Dominica to the tune of $400,000 for a low, and I repeat, low-income housing apartment. And everybody know in Dominica, $400,000 puts you into a nice, decent luxury house, my brother. And make it worse, the compounding thing about that money being stolen. Unlike other money is being stolen in Dominica, being spent by Dominican people, so the money benefiting in some type of a way, no matter what. This money that the Prime Minister has stolen from the Dominican people is in the hands of foreigners from start to finish. Anthony Hayden, all the other foreign contractors, money out of Dominica. And if you, Douglas Simon, can sit down there, can explain or find excuses for a man stealing from you, I have nothing to say when you hear a man volley from your auntie, your sister, and then power. I don't have nothing to say about power man volley, because you condoning the biggest theft of an entire nation with your petty excuses, bro.
Yeah, I would like to address my good partner Nep. That's my boy. That's a good soldier from Grande, Nep Packet. Yeah, he's saying he really, admire or what we do and things like that. But he's saying the problem is Dominicans understand all this. What we're saying, they understand it. And the issue is they have made a conscious decision, a conscious choice to accept the madness as the lesser of all evils. You understand me? So he's saying they know what we're saying there, they know it's wrong, they know it's wrong, but they choose to accept it. I want to tell my partner, Nep, that's not a fact. That's not what it is, my brother. There are those that accept because they're benefiting, but the majority of people they don't accept, but they are fearful, they are afraid. They are afraid of victimization and them kind of thing like that. And the way, the system has been placed on them over the years has brought them to feel like the government is in control of them, and not the other way around. We in control of the government, but they seem to be afraid, and that they are businessmen.
Ask him if he accept.
No, he don't accept, but he's checking the people and them. Because
but you can see the people is broken. That's why we're on that mission. So that's why you have to join the mission, brother. Join the mission.
Yeah, man.
Well, I will tell you something. Nep Packet, to me, or I look at it, your statement song is like a defeatist. Like basically you have given in. And to me, The other thing I just look at, even the devil have its supporters, you check. And the whole manipulation of the system does not mean that people accept. People might not have the ability to fight the system and they might not know how to go about doing it. That doesn't mean that they have accepted things as is. There might be lack of leadership, lack of guidance. It's a whole combination of things have led us to the situation that we are in today. And we have to always look at it critically, you know. But I don't know, maybe some of us, we might just be too stubborn to accept this nonsense. And maybe that is the stubbornness of not accepting this nonsense that is going on that will lead us out of this nonsense. Because I, for one, I don't care what it is, even if I have to die, even if I don't have to die, even if I have to come out crippled, broke, I don't care, but I go and fight until my last breath, my brother.
Trust me.
You check and
Yeah, man. Huh? You have to make
yeah. You check, so the fight is the fight and we have to continue because we're not giving up. Me have my little girl is one, that alone is more than enough.
reason.
Yeah.
My youth 19 and I have many youths. All the youths I coach, they are my youth. All youths, my brother.
My youth not
You
even.
check.
Them. We need to fix it before
So yeah,
them.
I cannot accept to see myself
Oh, you man.
living in that kind of condition that we are living presently.
Oh, you
So
so
yes, I have to go back to the talk slavery. Slavery was accepted by many slaves, you know. You know, many slaves accepted slavery. Many slaves were welcomed into slavery. Even if they knew it was not right, they still accepted it. Some slaves were brave enough to fight.
Yep.
I guess presently we are the brave enough slaves that,
Yeah,
that,
man,
that,
we from
that
that
have
lineage.
the
The next man,
maybe we mentally ill and we might not understand what we're doing presently, but yes, all we know is we are not accepting this nonsense. No way, no how,
let me tell you,
and like Tola say, wrong is
yeah,
wrong.
man, listen to me.
It have no way about wrong and right. Wrong is wrong, right is right, and no other justification. Boss, that man, the only thing that man can do to stop is to okay, Rice.
Let me tell you that, fella. Let me tell you that now. You see, Nep, my partner, Nep is the man that brought me to Granby once. And it had some liberation vibe, some kind of thing where enough man come and speak, tell a big grass, and I can't remember the name, you know. But them I was speaking, and I come there and I feel like vibes, my brother. I checking like a Nep pick me up and bring me up there. And I experienced that, I telling you, and I checking like that was real life. I went live for it and thing. And you know what he was talking about? The liberation of Granby. The same guy, UNICEF. Okay. And that thing there. No, Nep, my brother, UNICEF, one man, you know, remember that thing, and you that give me this the whole story and things so. And I learned that history is also students also know. True. And I learned that recently there from Nep, you check it. I check it Nep. One man way UNICEF was, and he built that vibe until he mobility, get the people and them, give them courage to revolt against Nassif and take their place, their land, my brother. So what's the difference, Nep? The country.
But that is how Granby expanded.
Check,
because without that, if they were not able to take over Geneva Estate, then Granby would just remain the Lale.
Yeah, man. So, don't take that to say we're talking about, like man say, bring people place and things so, but it's just to get the people and them to stand up and say enough is enough, my brother.
Yeah, man, enough is enough.
It can be done and it will be done. And
definitely.
You need to get
the
that
crusade continuing, you know. Nothing not stopping that crusade, you know. Hey, man, that crusade there.
One by one, let's join and
yeah, man.
Fight, my brother.
One thing I want the people to know about that burning and that this and that. My brothers, not put them things in your head first, my brother, before we even get there. Let us get there into the streets of Roseau first, and let us demand from the government their resignation. We know the crimes of the government, so we shall go down to Roseau and demand. Anything else that happens beyond that, it will be on the doorsteps of the government, because the people would have peacefully assembled in Roseau to demand the resignation of the government. They will make excuses. They will disperse police, and there might be some wicked police that might want to bust tear gas on people. And that is when things will happen, because they are the ones who will attack us first, because they are the ones who will not be peaceful against us for our rights. We will not back down. We will come to Roseau. Have no fear. We will make it happen. We,
right now,
us and you.
Right now, when you see that mission hit the road, the police have to switch sides. Of
course.
The police don't have a choice again. Not just politicians, but the oppressors, my brother. Check.
That's what it is.
Because you cannot tell me you go in and force slavery on your own people and yourself. You as a police force for how many years? Poor working condition, what kind of nonsense?
To me, how I watching that thing, the police is just waiting for us to take the street to help us.
Yes.
So that we can help them. That's all these people waiting for.
That's right.
The police just waiting for us to take to the streets so we can help them people. That's all I'm saying, my boy.
Definitely.
That's all I see in there. What against my boy? We don't breaking no laws now, my boy. My boy, the constitution of the land, the law books give us that right. Yeah. My boy, the system going overboard. My boy, it's overboard. These people are breaking the laws all angles. My boy, the man wasn't on the investigation, you know. The man go in parliament and change it. So what should you keep a man like that as head of government in a country?
Let me show you rice. Imagine you in our community in your town. Imagine you in our community and you have a set of thieves just passing and robbing everybody's house, just terrorizing the place, just stealing people things. But now,
I gotta tell you a thing, Maggie. I witness, where man catch thief in your tongue already. And trust me, the kind of treatment them thieves get.
Not just that.
Nobody like a thief, you know.
Not just that. In our community there.
Not even a sacre volley that like a sacre volley.
In our community there, Maggie, Pyro, everybody told her. When plague is out, it doesn't hear the alarm. Plague is out. Yeah. So what you do never thief, my boy? You have to get rid of that, my boy. So that is the best thing for a country, my boy.
One thing I know here, right? And one thing I know, right? When you have a neighborhood volley, a notorious neighborhood volley, the people just know who are the thieves in the neighborhood. Sure. The police doesn't come in the neighborhood, but the ghetto does investigate and know who are the thieves in the neighborhood.
Anytime I cry, everybody
do it. We may not officially convict or think, but we know who is the thieves in our neighborhood. Not the biggest society, not millions and millions. We know that man is a thief. The evidence of that man is a thief. It's clear as day and black as night.
Why the police always saying, community, work with the police?
Well, we work with the police,
Work with the police.
Of course we working.
We work with the police.
We
made how many reports? We make how many reports?
I'm gonna make a new report under the new commission.
Seriously, no, Buji?
No, I'm gonna make a... You said that?
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna make a new report. So now... No, I tell you, I'm gonna make a new report and bring it in. No, but I don't bring it downstairs. I go in straight upstairs to Corbett because they just tell you it's Corbett and they might not have to make them decisions there. Yeah. So I take in my complaint and I go in straight upstairs to Corbett and I just ask him, is either or tell me like a man.
And he was on the media saying that if anybody have any problem, they should come straight to him.
I'm coming straight to him.
Definitely.
Because I officially come into going to write him as the commissioner of police. Forget Carbon, he's acting, so no, forget acting. He's Commissioner Corbett, as far as I know. Corbett, Carbon not nowhere to sign no paper for nobody. So it's Commissioner Corbett. So I can write a new complaint to Commissioner Corbett. And I'm going to write a new complaint to Markelson Farrell. But you know what I'm going to make the difference, Pyro? I'm going to copy those complaints to the newspaper. Everybody in Dominica have to read what I complain about, what I accusing of, what is my evidence, what I put forward. And them guys they have to respond, Pyro. They have to respond. Because I know the commissioner don't want to investigate. I should be able to go to the DPP. I'm supposed to be able to go somebody to somebody.
Well, the corruption is clear enough.
Official complaint. But forget all that. We know what's happening. And we the people have to make up our mind to take to the streets of Roseau. Because if Corbett wanted to act, he'd act. We know Markelson Farrell not going to act. We know nobody in authority going to act for the people of Dominica except for the poor people. When you're talking about a man that giving 1.2%, my brother, as salary increase to civil servants, let us look at 1.2%. 1.2% on $100 is what now? $1.25.
I don't insult them.
You get a raise that cannot buy a tin of sardine, a can of milk. What again?
I can't even pay a bus.
You cannot even buy a butter bread on Saturday on the raise the government give you.
You can't even pay a bus fee on that.
You cannot pay bus to come to Newtown.
$75 is the lowest.
So people out there, tell me what it is that
yeah, it's according to where you go to. Okay.
So people out there, ask yourself what you're working for, especially if you're working for government when it's $25 on $100. What is it? $12.50 on 1,000?
Yeah.
$12.50 on $1,000. That is the kind of a salary increase man talking about the government offering the people.
$1,000.
$12.50 on every $1,000. That is what the government giving the civil servants.
How much they give themselves?
The hard-working police officers, or the frontline police officers running the bush, doing everything. The 60 soldiers that got in Skerrit and his families, they find they deserve 1.25%. $12.50.
How much he give himself?
He give himself 50% twice.
And how much he give himself for the for COVID promotion in his rental? $64,000. He give himself a $64,000 boost.
We're already talking about to be able to combat COVID business or the handling the COVID. Have it been not for the police in a good job to secure the border with the backdoor business and all those things?
But apart from that, the backdoor. Yeah, but apart from that, we are a hub. We have no international flights. We have no nothing. So when all these other countries close down, Dominica is blocked off, effectively. So, I mean, when people talk about the management of COVID, we have, what are we really managing? We as the people, we agree to wear masks, so. But we have no international travel.
Situation.
Exactly. Anybody that come into Dominica must stop over in some other country before they get to Dominica.
For the first time, we have a benefit of a lack of development.
Exactly. So we have an insulation. You check. Exactly. We need an insulation. So before you get to Dominica, you must stop if it's Antigua.
You must pass the COVID test in Antigua. You must pass the COVID test. Right before you reach there. You cannot fly directly to Dominica.
The only island you can come from to come straight to Dominica is the Martinique.
You cannot come straight to Dominica.
You have to stay where you
remember, as soon,
just what Pyro's saying.
As COVID start, the friends stop the boat servicing. The express stop come to Dominica immediately, my brother. So we have to keep that in focus.
So Pyro have it right. And anybody at the government have their little part to play. My brother, I don't go and say they have a little part to play in managing what we have. But to say what the other small countries experiencing is simply because we have to orbit to come to Dominica. you must stop somewhere to come to Dominica. You must. And you must pass the test to go, to reach those places, to leave those places, so that keeping us on a good level. But you have to give the police their credit for doing their work when they're doing it positively.
Yeah, it's a combination of things. I mean, it's not just one thing.
When they're doing their work positively, the problem was that they didn't get enough support from the government in terms of equipment and the money to finance the operation. Rather, the government engaged in a scheme, in a COVID scheme with But that is not the point of the matter right now. The point is, the police and them deserve their raise. They deserve their raise.
Everybody in the country deserves a raise.
Everybody in the country deserves a raise.
Yeah,
you understand? I agree with that.
Now.
I agree with that, Pedro. Everybody deserves a significant raise. The $1,000 salary doesn't cover this one.
They know that.
The only thing it can do is
Everybody in Dominica raise the raise of
seals and buy a little bit.
We are working backwards in Dominica. We are working backwards in Dominica right about now.
But we have to let them know the only way they can get that raise, we have to come together and remove that there. That's the only way. No?
The politician will not give the raise.
No, the politicians now is a special case. You see in Dominica, yeah, and I will say it like that. Dominicans or any people in general, not people, no, but people, animal, however you want to put it. You see, like a bad dog, there, right? You can train your dog to be bad, go back behind people. But if you feed your dog with raw meat, your dog have a different level of madness in it. You understand, Tola? And those politicians afraid of giving the people of Dominica that meat of protest in their veins. Because they know at some point people will be dissatisfied with some decision they make and they want to take to the streets.
Not just some point, they know they're already involved in corrupted activities, they know they're already involved in illegal activities, so they know anytime they empower the people definitely going to rise up against them. They know that. That's a fact.
That's why Miss Charles chose to dumb down the Dominican people by taking out civics in school, so people do not understand the laws, they do not understand the constitution, they will not be able to understand the wrong the government is doing, so they will end up saying they're not seeing the wrong because they do not understand it. And once we raise our level in understanding that of our constitution, of our laws and order, our law and order, we the people can make a difference. And we're going to make a difference.
Yeah, definitely.
We're going to make a difference. It will happen. And I want to tell the people out there, especially the people that vote for the government, especially people that
for labor, not the government. For labor, because the government is supposed to be representative of everybody.
Correction. I want to tell all the people that vote for labor, that supporting labor in some way or the other, that we're not here to keep a party in prosperity. We're here to develop a country into prosperity. And developing a country into prosperity does not come from one man, it doesn't come from one party, it comes from the collective of all the people. You can only have one captain of a ship at any given moment, we respect that. But we need the captains to be able to listen to the people that they are with them, to take guidance, listen to what we have to say, and make a positive impact for all of us. And that is what we here to represent, whether, especially when we get rid of that government, it is to make sure we the Dominican people understand that we have to stand for our country against every single politician that come in the future. Not politician over people.
True.
Not politician over party. Loyalty to politician is what does destroy countries. We sit down in Dominica, we watch in America. We see what happened in America with that insurrection and the people rising up against, in the face using, where the politicians use lies to get the people to do something bad against their own self. So people always have to guard against politicians, because the gains of the politician is not the true gains of the people.
True.
The gains of the politician is not the gains of the people. So we the people have to guard against politicians at all costs. At all costs.
We cannot just let go for them and allow them to do what they want.
And we should also understand partisan politics. Partisan politics, where you're so biased, you cannot say wrong is wrong, and you cannot say right is right. It's something as a people we have to guard against in the future when we get past this government. We have to guard against partisan politics. What is good, what is bad. Nobody likes a sacrifice in the streets, nobody can like a sacrifice in the Prime Minister office. We have to guard against that. And to the people out there that have a fear for the future, don't worry, man, people. Everything will be better. We currently live in a nightmare in Dominica. A nightmare of leadership that dragging we the people in Dominica straight down. That disenfranchising us from our entire nation and our future prosperity. That we have to deal with.
Yeah, man, but you don't know the crusade and the mission. And right now, we're taking it to the people. So, it's wrong the country. Every Saturday, we're on the road. You check. Right now, we just have to keep the vibes positive, keep it focused on the mission at hand, and allow people to because it's not just a matter of we come in and speak to you. You too have to do some work within yourself. You know, go out there, read, you check, look out, ask questions, you know, seek information. You check, because the information there in, but you have to be critical about it because some of it is doctored, you know, some of it is manipulated yeah, so you have to be able to think and decipher things too. You check, because I remember I the other day, you know, I watching an article and the people talking about the population and about the population of Dominica right after Hurricane Maria, even 2 years after Hurricane Maria, and the year after Hurricane Maria, the population is still 70,000, and that's not true. We clearly know that that's not true. You check. So you have to be critical, you know, when you're looking at information, and never be afraid to question. Never doubt yourself. Well, when you ever in doubt, present the question, you know. As long as you have a doubt, present the question, present the doubt, present the state. You know, state the facts. Or make a statement. As long as you have a doubt, yes, bring it out, you check.
No fear.
Yeah, don't sit and say.
If you don't understand, put up your hand.
Yes.
And say you don't understand.
You check.
So I go in school.
Yes.
I don't understand.
As long as you have a doubt, yeah, you're supposed to bring out your doubt, you check. And that is one of the things I keep. We supposedly living in a democracy, but yet still, there is nowhere for you to learn about democracy in Dominica. There is no school that teaches you about democracy. There are no institutions you can go to and learn about about democracy in Dominica. So one of the things for democracy to function is the education of democracy. The people have to understand and know what is democracy. So if you are telling me that people cannot find information, or there is no institutions that teach about democracy, but yet still we are living in a democracy, then we find ourselves in what we facing right now, presently, that we are not in a democratic country anymore. You check. You ask the average person on the street, what does it mean to be a citizen of a country, and they may not be able to answer you. You know, and these are the things you check. We do not even understand what our civic duties, our civil responsibilities, and to me, I feel these are some of the topics that we should really be looking at, you know, and even the lawyers out there listening, these are some of the topics that you all should take up and deal with the people, because that is directly within your professional your professional expertise and
Be real to you.
as leaders of communities and leaders within yourselves, that these are things that can impact the lives of people, empower them,
Yes.
you know. So
Seem to be used.
this is something even I myself, because if somebody, one thing, any man that come to me and ask me any question about construction, I will try my best to answer him in my capacity. You check. If I see a man doing if I see a man doing a thing and I see him, he not doing it right,
Oh, you man.
I will call on him. If he accept my knowledge, but I will definitely call on him. You check. And I mean, we have many lawyers in Dominica, right? So let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah, man.
You know, you all too. I think it's about time that the lawyers come out and start to deal directly with the public.
Yes.
I remember
You need to speak
it's
with
not even about the $1.2 billion. Before, I remember some years back, they used to have like fears where the lawyers would come and set up. For instance, I think they did it in Convent some years back. I think it's around 10 years or something. So, you know, and the public was able to come and engage with the lawyers, you know. And I think presently it's things like that we need, you know. Go around the country, set up this type of activities and educate the people, you know, share out bibliography, you know, give people books to read or inform them on where they can seek certain information and really come out and make people know what is their civic duty, what is their rights, what is their responsibilities as citizens of a country, you know, because sometimes I might come out and say it and a man might check, oh, you're not a legal professional, you know, but I was fortunate enough to be taught this by the Mr. Francis Dr. Girl, you check, one of the men that reviewed our constitution back in the 90s, in the late 90s, and to me, we as a society, is on us as a people, the leaders, those in position of privilege, and positions of privileges is positions where we're supposed to be grateful to be in a position of privilege, and to be grateful is to give back pro bono, whatever it may be. You check. So we have to give back to our communities, help our communities, whether it's by just sitting and share our knowledge with them. You check. Yeah. So that part there, tonight there, yeah, I'm making an official request on behalf of Moun Séwyè to the lawyers in Dominica to really come out. I would really like to see you all come out and impact the communities, get into the communities, reach out to the people, you know, talk to the people. I mean, we have a lot of lawyers in Dominica. You check.
Right now.
Yes.
And we have
You know, so
those lawyers, you know, that friends.
yes,
Tell them that we most
definitely.
Yeah.
You know, so not just radio, but come out in the public, man. Engage the people, you know, and
Yeah.
yes, you check. Yeah, man.
As you want from Central M.
Yeah, or you can even join us on the crusade.
Yeah, man.
You check. Come and share the knowledge.
For sure.
You know, and
Yeah, we need to.
it's an invitation. So any one of you out there listening, or anybody that know of anybody that interested, or anybody that know of, yeah, we sending out an invite same way. Invite you to join the crusade, impact the movement. Yeah, let us strengthen up, let us build up the vibe, let us show the people that we can do this, we can provide the leadership that is needed, you know, and it's not just.
And if the people on them see the lawyers and them with Moun Séwyè, that will make them, you know, make them feel, yeah, you know what I'm saying, they'll get more confidence again, they'll take like...
Yes, definitely.
Taliban,
Man.
mad fellas that they're talking to us on behalf, you know.
Yeah, definitely, you know.
That them man saying the right thing. You check it. Very people them know we saying the right thing. But you check it. The lawyers and them need to show they support what we're saying. You know, yeah man. They need to endorse and expound on it and you know.
What they have to do, to me, I don't really care about they coming out and endorsing what we say. Come out and educate the people.
Yeah.
It's your profession.
Yeah.
You check? It's your responsibility. You have a professional responsibility to the society.
Yeah, that's your
right?
contribution.
You have a professional responsibility to you being a lawyer.
Yes, sir.
You know, and it's the same way like me being an architect, I have a professional responsibility. We all have professional responsibilities. Some of us choose not to take it in, but it's something that we have to look onto and yes, it's about time, you know, come out in the public, and I would like to see it, you know. So it's a suggestion, I putting it out there. It's up to you still, you check, but I'm just putting it out there on behalf of Moun Séwyè. We would like to invite the lawyers, any lawyer, to join our crusade, or to even go out in your community and just share your knowledge. Try to impact the lives on your fellow community members, you know. Share your knowledge.
Because these are your potential clients, right? I mean, so at least, you know, you're doing your job, you're getting paid and things, so the least you can do, you know, make a contribution of a little knowledge on the people and them, you know, just, you know, being a good citizen that, you know, is benefiting from the country, and you know, you can give back and make a contribution.
To add to it, in one of the things, try to be neutral as possible, though. You know, but share the knowledge, man. Knowledge is power. We always saying that, but it's half the battle, though. But the application of knowledge is something else.
People and them in the community. Yeah. Want to make people in the community know that we don't come to talk to all you. We come to talk with all you. You understand me? So we want only to. It's like, you know, send people in most time, you know, watch us talk. We don't come there to talk to all you like we come and put on a show and things so. We come and vibes with all you. With together. We come to, you know, bring courage and, you know, come and ask all you to stand up with us. You know, we come to show that we're ready to lead, we're ready to stand up, and we are not afraid, and you should not be afraid. And we don't want you to I see someone even afraid to come close to us because they, you know, no, my brother, we need to get rid of that fear and understand that we are one people, one Dominica, and we're talking for Dominica. Let's stand together for Dominica. So when we come in your community, come around, my brother, come around us, and if you're feeling what we're saying and you believe that what we're saying is real, then you have no fear to come around us and ask questions. You know what I mean? Engage us. Like
well, Maggie, I really think well for me right now. I think we can call it a night.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I know, so we'll just like to wrap up with a few words. And I would like to say before we go, fear. Embrace your fears, man. Embrace your fears. And love yourself. Care for yourself. Self-care is important, you know. But embrace your fears. Because fear is a preparation. When you feel fear, next is the adrenaline. But fear gets you ready to solve your problems or to address your issues. So, if you didn't have an issue, you would not feel that fear. So to you, my people, let's be brave. Let's move forward. And let's look to build a better country. Let's look to build a better society. So with that, I say good night.
Yeah, people, I just want to thank the viewers and the supporters. I thank you for your support, the comments, there's a good vibes there, you know what I'm saying? I want to thank you guys, and I want to tell each of you, all the people and them viewing and listening, that feeling the vibes, to each one, teach one, share, and I want you to speak to people, share it, bring people to listen to what we are saying, and make them know what it is about. Each one teach one, reach out to someone, everybody. Yeah, man. So let's build one by one step. One by one. It's a process. It's a patient movement. Yeah, but we go in, we get in there with the mind positive. Keep the mind positive, and just because we can you see how we explain ourselves. We know what we're talking about. We're not just reading the thing. We're feeling the thing. You feel me? So each one reach out to one and spread the word, spread the vibe, spread the movements, and we're gonna grow it until the time it's ready and it's almost there. So people give thanks.
Yes. Before we go on, well, what I'd like to say is to echo the sentiments of no fear, and I'd just like to recite this little statement from our national anthem. Come ye forward, sons and daughters of this gem beyond compared. Strive for honor, sons and daughters. Do the right, be firm, be fair. Toil with hearts, hands and voices. We must prosper, sound the call, in which everyone rejoices. All for each, and each for all. Let's have no fear, people. We must do this together.
I remember at the primary school we were. Time's up. I was the president. Ignorant.
All I have to say to the people, Maggie.